Keep our fingers crossed for a close series. And I think, given these two players, it is quite likely that we will see that. King of Osmane and Optimus Prime, I think both quite evenly matched. Starting in the top of the map in the colour green, we do indeed have King of Osmane playing for the Cuirassier Management Company, playing as France on a 200 wood start. The Explorer heading straight up towards the trading post in the top of the map. Exactly what we would expect France to do on a 200 wood start, whilst his scout gets out onto the map and is going to start looking for some yaks. Does come across two there, and by the looks of it, he has the line of sight of this trading post, or this native post, and is sort of going to go look for yaks in the middle there. Has just found the two so far. His opponent in the south of the map, ooh, they both got one yak each, but that war dog's going to walk. Yeah, blue did get a yak there, but at least Spain does have that war dog. Here he is in the bottom of the map in the color blue, playing as the Spanish, as I mentioned. He has a war dog in addition to his explorer, so both have a secondary scout, although the dog's not got quite as much line of sight, but certainly both have the potential to get this trading post nice and early and find a few yaks.
But the dog is named Pinata, and that has to be taken into consideration, I believe.
Pinata.
Pinata. Oh, there was no, what's that little symbol next to your escape key that goes, the tilde?
I know what you mean, but no, maybe, I don't know. Maybe it is called
sure
Pinata.
It's called a tilde, but, what's it called? Spanish going to pick up an 85 wood treasure, which is going to be really nice for them. As far as yak wars are concerned, King of Osmane, as expected, absolutely dominating. But the question is, does he... The Mankell method is what? You have to have at least 8 yaks before you build a livestock pen? Will he go livestock pen?
He could certainly do it. That is a lot. 7, I think, is enough. Could indeed go for a livestock pen with that. Would have to get it off his, maybe his 400 wood, his 700 wood, depending on what he's got in mind. We'll see if he goes for it. I wouldn't say King of Osmane is unlikely to. I feel like he likes that sort of in-base defensive style. He's the Yumi W. He's missed. Yeah, that's the 8th yak right there. So I think playing defensive and economically is something he's very used to doing.
Yeah, especially on this map, you're going against Spanish, who you're not going to really expect early pressure. They're capable of it, but not in the most efficient way. So I think right here, instead of maybe going for that 5-cav semi-FF, put that 200 wood into a livestock, or the 150 wood into a livestock pen. Maybe slow your age up and put the stable in later, or even just, go naked FF and...
Go naked FF. I think you cut out there, so let's hope that you return in just a moment. Schooner's coming in! Okay, we were talking about that briefly before the game got going. We said it's not something we see too often, but Spain is one of the civs, if you're going to get schooners with, is indeed a civ that is able to do that, simply because of the extra shipments there. So now, switching over to wood after having eaten his 2 yaks. He didn't find too many, just going to eat them, get up a bit quicker, and perhaps make everything a bit smoother for this schooners build that he has in mind.
I'm excited for it. Pardon me, I think I cut out briefly. But I really hope that we see the livestock pen out of King of Osmane. That'd be really cool. I'm always a big fan of the efficiency of getting, what is this, 3,200 food relatively fast with, gathering from yaks. But it'll... it's going to be interesting to see that now Optimus Prime is going very boomy as well. Does King of Osmane match the boom? Does he know the boom is coming? I'm sure he's just scouted it, so it's probably going to either be a match of boom, or he's just going to try and pressure him really, really hard.
I just got a message from Duck saying I've got the wrong symbols up. So I fixed the team... I fixed them, the logos, on a different layer, and now it's gone back to the previous layer that I used when I last casted, so they are wrong. Let's get that fixed in the break between the series. I do apologise for misrepresenting your team, Duck. How could I? But yes, let's get back into the game here. Whilst you were explaining that, I was reading his message and I wasn't quite sure what was being said. Are we going to see the livestock pen though? We're about to find out. That 400 wood is now on the floor, and we'll see if he sort of adds that in. So far, though, hunting dogs and placer mines is in for King of Osmane, and he's got his market up there, so can certainly get steel traps as well.
Oh yeah, we're seeing a livestock.
Oh, there it is.
I'm excited, baby.
I thought it was a house for a sec, because it's not that big, but I don't see that building too often. It is indeed a livestock.
You don't see the foundation too much, but we also got a second dock coming from Optimus Prime, so it's going to be a kind of a boom-off, and I'm excited, but we do have a barracks up here. It's not going to be entirely just, eco and basically, no rush 10-minute treaty game. We're going to have some pressure on the TP up here, which is going to... I think I flagged the wrong way. Pardon me. Yeah, we're going to have pressure on the TP down there, controlling this hunt, as well as getting a second trade post. So it's going to be a very interesting game.
Yeah. Thing is, King of Osmane, he is aware of what's going on the water. He's got his native scout on the bottom here in stealth, and he can see that the fishing boats are coming out thick and fast. There's quite a number of them at this dock here. Not sure if he scouted the other dock, but he can probably see how quickly the fishing boats are being trained if he's being diligent and checking his scout, and he'll know that his opponent's got schooners. He can certainly see it in his opponent's deck, so he's going to be aware of what is possible. So, as you said, definitely a boom-off. Optimus Prime here, 700 wood to get that second dock that we saw, and indeed funding his fishing boat production. Now has quite a number. Let's click this button. 36 economic unit population to 26. So starting to get very far ahead, and indeed 5 villages is adding to that as well. So has a lot of things on the board. Meanwhile, Optimus Prime has managed to produce 10 musketeers. Of course, a lot of his boom is kind of free. He found all these yaks. All he had to do is get this livestock pen up and running. So mostly an unchanged build. He built this barracks, it would seem, in the center of the map to protect his trading route. And from there, has managed to get some musketeers out and quickly has taken down that trading post. Oh, 2 caravels. Quickly blasting these boats.
Yeah, and that's going to be nice and offensive. He's going to take the entire TP line, and I would hope adding stagecoach behind it. He hasn't aged up yet, so he's going to be a little bit behind, but that power spike is coming. He really just needs to kind of keep the boom in check for Optimus Prime. He doesn't have to, wipe him off of water. Just not let him go completely uncontested to either bait a shipment from him, which is good, because now he's going to usurp him in shipment production even.
Usurp. What a fantastic word. I like that.
I'm with the linguistics major over here. I got to throw around some SAT words every now and again.
That's a good word. It's a good word. I'll give you that. King of Osmane, though, I like his position. He grabbed the trading post there. He's now got stagecoach in on top of these livestock that are fattening, and the musketeers are sort of walking in, looking to kill some units, some villagers here. They do come across 2, although focusing that down whilst being shot at from the town centre. So losing a few units here, but I think that's what he wants to do. He's looking to just kill as many vills as he can, trade off these musks without, although has lost. I'm not sure it was worth it.
Yeah, and we're going to have a little bit of a water battle here. The 2 caravels for King of Osmane going to go down relatively easily, and he's delayed, but it did bait that shipment that we talked about, right? And now that he's got stagecoach TP, his yaks are about to explode. They're just coming off the livestock pen.
Oh, wow.
Fully fattened. Him baiting that shipment, although it doesn't, he's now lost water and really can't contest it. He's going to have a window here where he can really close the gap.
Yeah, I think King of Osmane's okay. Like, there's so much food about to come in. He's got a lot of wood coming in from his trading route, or whatever he needs. So I don't think he's, like, it says economically that the blue is six vills up. I think that's perhaps a bit misleading. But both players now in the Fortress Age. One of the advantage Spain has is lots and lots of shipments. In fact, more so on the most recent iteration of EP. Here comes Optimus Prime. First few musketeers out that he trained in transition. Some of which were to defend against the musks that King of Osmane sent at him, but now has got enough of them to venture out onto the map and start taking down this trading route, or at least reclaim the spot that he lost, and certainly worth doing so since the stagecoach is teched.
Yeah. What we didn't, I don't know if you noticed, he built a third caravel, and that's really going to just be wasted resources, right? He has no interest in trying to retake water. So it's really going to help this window of time where
What are you
King of
talking about,
Osmane-
man? It's fishing. I can see it. It's gathering food. That's a great use of resources.
You're exactly right. It's getting whatever it is, but like a 0.3 or 0.1 fish per second.
I think it is actually the same as a fishing boat, but that still doesn't. I don't know why I think that, but I'm pretty sure it is. But it's obviously not very good. Lancers on top of the skirmishers are going to do quite a lot there. You know, in a great spot. Have got them snared. Are doing tons of damage.
Ooh,
Three goons sort of just waltzing in there a bit too far. They have now been recontrolled. And he will be able to take down all of the lancers, but has lost all of his skirms. In fact, just 2 remaining, very low health. Overall, remaining musketeers will be able to blast down, but a few reinforcing skirmishers from Optimus Prime can... and 2 more lancers now on top of his next skirm shipment, or batch of skirms.
Yeah, this is going to be really interesting because, you know, as, you know, the game goes on longer, the advantage shifts to Optimus Prime. He's still got a lot of yaks to kind of to match the boom, but the 5 war dogs are going to make a huge difference in this fight. Don't count them out. They're basically like little baby hussars.
They see stealth. That's amazing. Hand infantry see stealth pet. Who would have thought? Yeah, although here comes a batch of rods. Can he get them on top of the goons? That would be really nice, but the goons do see. They do start to run, and the skirms are going to get a few shots here without any supporting lancers. Although you did mention the dogs, they're coming in to back up, so if they can get into the fight, seems okay. But the trouble is these rods are going to get picked off quite quickly, although the dogs have now found their way into the fight. But I'm not sure there's enough... the skirms haven't made enough ground. It just feels like they waltzed in there, but didn't get too much done, it feels like.
Yeah, R.I.P. Pinata, gone but not forgotten. The goon mass is just getting out of control, too. And he's never going to be able to really make up the skirm mass to counter his goon mass, especially since he's kind of wasted those rods. It seems like it's just going to be a slow trickle to the end, but you never know what, you know, good shipment could pop out.
Yeah. Yeah, if you can get a rod, like those 8 rods, if they'd like spawned out on top of the dragoons, it would have been ideal, but it's just hard to get hand infantry where you need them to be. And skirmishers, obviously, much easier to mass if you're French. You've got those 2 shipments, although... and that's what we're seeing here.
Yeah, especially, you know, the livestock pen and that native scout being, you know, a very good counter to the full fishing boom. Without those yaks, he might have been in some, you know, bigger trouble. But him backing off here, I don't know if that's the right move, because while we said that, you know, he's got a window, those fishing boats are just gathering uninhibited, and he didn't really take too much of a hit to the eco, so he can, you know, remass a little bit and, you know, at least make a fight of it instead of just getting rolled, you know?
Yeah, I mean, you're right. Normally when we watch Spain, if they lose their, like, rod shipments and they lose their, you know, their units in general, it's just really hard to remass. But this particular Spain, as you said, there's a ton of eco behind it. So actually trading those rods off to keep the goons away, maybe it's not too bad. It wasn't like a horrid trade. It was, I mean, I didn't think it was a great trade, but it wasn't horrid. So, yeah, 1,000 wood now coming down. What's he going to do with that, do you think? Perhaps, I mean, he's got all of his upgrades except steel traps, so actually not all of his upgrades at all. I wonder if we'll see a second town centre, or maybe just more fishing boats. It seems though the water's probably quite saturated now.
Yeah, I mean, maybe he could, like, rebuild society here and use his caravels to be offshore support to buy him time. One of the underrated resources in this game is not represented on the UI, and it's time, right? So he sacrificed his shipment of 8 rods that was, you know, more or less a throwaway shipment, but it bought him time, and that's really what he needs to make this boom pay off, because now the yaks... Oh, he's still got so many yaks. But
yeah, he's still, like, there's some left, you're right. Yeah. And like that like the vills gathering there essentially kind of it's like having these 3 vills, it's like having 6 vills whilst they're gathering this food, since they gather definitely at least twice as fast as ordinary. But also he's got, of course, a raid coming in. Boom. 2 falconets. Remember, behind this, France has the trading post route as well, so I'd say the eco is actually quite similar.
Yeah. Recalculated, it says 58 to 43, but, you know, especially as the fish start to dwindle in the sea, the eco becomes a lot less valuable on the ocean. At least the trading posts stay the same, and you can control what resource you're getting. You know, France definitely has the advantage, but it's not, you know, an easy role for him right now, right? He's got a lot of cuirassiers, which is going to be fun, but he's got a good amount of goons and a nice skirm mass, 2 falcons. It's going to be an interesting fight.
That's a lot of
It's gonna
cures,
come down to
man.
micro.
That is a lot of cures. Let's see how this goes. Trouble is, no rods or pikes to defend the cannons, so he's just going to have to kite back here. Away from the cures, which are now sort of approaching on top of his skirmishers. Although,
Yeah.
and now both cannons down.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know why he had the falcons on the cuirassiers there, because at least you could just make a big dent in the skirmisher mass and then have your goons clean it up. But it seems like he's going to win this fight.
Yeah. Ville's now having to be pulled off. Still quite a lot of cures left. Let's switch to military units. 7 cures.
Yeah, really.
And a lot of skirmishes.
I think he got a little too panicked by the cuirassiers, and he could have just, you know, put those falcons onto the skirms, and it would have changed this fight. Ooh, rods out of nowhere, which are relatively useless against the skirms, but now that you're down to 5 military units versus 49, it's a bit of a situation. And King of Osmane has usurped him in economic population as well, and has map control.
So that goes to show the value of the yaks. He's only just finished eating them, it would seem. Or is about to finish eating them. Looks like, though, 4 lancers are now on the board. Combine that with the rods, trying to get into combat with the skirmishers there. But there just seems to be so many French units that it's not going to last long enough. And the French eco is now certainly actually ahead, especially with the trading route. Second town centre. I think King of Osmane has is in. Yeah, there we go.
He also dropped an arsenal, which you just don't see often.
Oh dear. An arsenal?
Yeah.
God.
Searching,
cavalry cuirass just coming in.
Yeah.
God, I need to warm up. Game number 1. I'm feeling like, oh.
You're good, man. You're good. You're doing fine.
Well, this happens. This happens every time. We always start casting, and then by like game 2 and 3, I'm well into it. But the game 1, I'm always sort of a bit all over the place. But such is the way of things.
You're like a prize fighter. The early rounds, you kind of low-key. You don't know what's going on. Then you get a feel for things.
Yeah, you got to shift gear up. Go through the gears. Gear 1, 2, 3. Look at the French economy here. I think. I don't know, you can't really see any spike from the yaks, that's just like a trickle over time, but it's just a lot of resources, and he's just consistently ahead of his opponent. Remember, he had the stagecoach as well, and it seems that the fishing boats weren't really enough. I wonder if this would be better, this Spanish boom, if the trading route was, you know, imagine like Great Plains style trading route, where one is in your base, and you can hang on to part of the stagecoach as well, so... Yeah, there is that. First game does go to King of Osmane. Well picked up. And if you have any concluding thoughts, let us know. I'm going to head on out to the overlay whilst I fix the I got the player teams wrong, which we can't have that.
Well, definitely not. Yeah, it felt very winnable. It just seemed like, you know, while France was ahead, and I believe over time France was still going to win, that, you know, that decisive fight that made it a France win. It just seemed very mismicroed. It, you know, he needed to. That skirm mass was the priority. The gendarmes, or not gendarmes, the queers were, you know, they just caused a lot of fear, it seemed, and he was, you know, not prioritizing the right units, because you could just kite those gens just as good as anyone else.
So Optimus,
just as, you know, Hussars or whatever, it's the same thing when you have goons. Queers are only scary when you have a big infantry mass.
Right, so King of Osmane is playing for Mandarin Duck Squad, I believe.
Solid.
So, let's reflect that. Oh dear. You know, this shouldn't be that difficult. Mandarin Duck Squad. And this one should be Cure Management Company. Okay. So, I believe that is correct.
Looks good to me.
Oh, you can't see it. How would you know?
I know. I just thought I'd say it and see if I could get it by you.
Who picks now? Duck. Do. You. Do.
Two in French.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Next map will be Iowa. And on it we have Inca and Lakota, of all things. As well as the trading route through the middle. Obviously the water depicted in this particular minimap is no longer there.
Oh, it's not? I was going to say, are you unable to, just cheese little caravel into your opponent's lake and just be absolutely annoying?
Not anymore. And I don't ever think you were either, simply because there was no water flag. Though I don't think that stops you from building a dock. But certainly no water anymore. So a much more standard map than before. But I believe that's been the case for a while now. Either way, I think this map has a place in the map pool, given that kind of reminds me of High Plains in a sense, that there's a trading route going through the middle, except this is 3 TPs, not 5. So yeah, I think it's sort of it's interesting for that reason, that it's not a super high TP map. You have some different dynamics going on, but also I think the Lakota can play a part, since you can get those dog soldiers.
Yeah, very straightforward map. Not too many bells and whistles. Really good map to try to enforce map control, because there is kind of a short rush distance, although it's very choky, so you can kind of wall it off very easily to kind of deter that. It reminds me a lot of, I think it's I know it doesn't have the water element, but the way it flows, like New England, where you have those small lakes in front of your base, and it kind of either flows to the right or the left of your base in that central area where there's a couple of trade posts. It's just more like New England with no water and less trade posts.
Still France and Spanish.
They didn't flip, did they? No, that's the same. I mean, they're going to have to... I think they're talking about lag, and in the chat, they're saying potential moves based on that, but it's rare that I lag, and I think it's rare that you lag as well. I think it might be one of them, but we'll find out. I think they're just kind of sitting around.
Yeah. That'd be nice to have...
We could test it out, see if the lag is still bad.
That is something we can do. I'm going to turn the light on 1 sec.
So how are we all doing in the chat? I hope we're all enjoying the content here. We're treated to interjection. We don't get that too often. I got the privilege to cast with them, which is pretty cool, I must say.
I'm back.
Just, I was just fangirling over you while you were on.
Don't.
No, I shouldn't fangirl over you? So I should cancel my DeviantArt account is what you're telling me. That is, oh man, that's a completely different animal. They're speaking in, foreign languages and such.
Ja, was Pich.
Jawohl, Kommandant.
I remember saying, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Saturday Smackdown in German one time at the start of Saturday Smackdown.
Good for you. You remember how to say it?
I do remember how to say it because I had to like burn it into my mind, but it was quite fun to say. I wonder what would happen if I like. I feel like I should learn like enough German to cast like the first 6 minutes of a match. Obviously, what I would be saying would just be rehearsed and not actually like representative of what's happening on the screen. But I think it would be like really fun to just cast out of something I've always wanted to do as well is a fictional commentary, which sounds ridiculous, but it would be like a black screen or nothing, or maybe like there'd be like the video you're watching on the screen would be completely like unrelated to what I'm saying. It would just be like background B-roll. But I want to like cast a pretend game and say all these things are happening and get really excited about certain things and say like how excellent like certain players and then just make up stuff that's happening so it sounds really unplausible but crazy stuff. It's always been something I thought might be fun to do, but it's probably a waste of time.
It could be fun, just something cool to do. I mean, as far as a German cast, right? Age 1 is so heavily, redundant that all you need to do is just know how to say 85 wood, but the particular wood treasures and food treasures in German, right? Just the numbers and food and wood. You can just say that, what's going on. It won't be, legendary or anything, but you can get through 6 minutes, the first Age 1 with German probably.
Yeah, you'd be like, oh, he picks up his 40 coin treasure and now, oh my god, 10 pikemen!
Oh my god. A frigate spawns Age 2.
He just spawned a frigate how did we not see this coming? Oh!
There's no water on the map.
There's no water on the map. It's sailing across the land.
Oh my god.
Big broadside on his TC.
Oh my god.
God, I want to see that. A mod where like land and water units can just sort of walk on all terrain. So it doesn't matter what the terrain is. They just sort of move over it.
The Canadian Bears and the monster trucks. Let's go. Enable cheats, damn it.
I mean, the game would be so weird if you could... there isn't any terrain that water and land units can move on, but if there were, well, water, like, boats are just so much better against like, they're just really strong against land units.
Yeah, I mean, you have to, like, nerf the multipliers and stuff like that. You have to do a lot of stuff to make it anyway playable, aside from just having a big tank in the middle of the game. But
Portuguese coming out.
Yeah. I like seeing ports. I know they're kind of on the lower tier side of things, but ports played well is something I just genuinely respect.
I like ports. I think it's a fun civ certainly to play. I don't know if it's a fun civ to watch. I think viewers enjoy certainly the really hectic map control games where there's lots of fights happening in different locations. And ports don't lend themselves too well to that simply because, well, you're just really defensive. But I think I mean, Kinesi can make Portuguese really interesting, and they do have a lot of potential for, unit pops and.
Apparently, my audio might be a little low. Just something you might want to check.
Yeah, I'll boost you up. There you go. You're about 15% louder now.
Ooh, I like 15% more.
Although it is logarithmic, so it's probably a lot more than that. But,
but ports on this map is really good because you kind of want that line of sight so that you can see where the where it's coming from necessarily, because it's most likely they're going to come from the left or the right if you successfully wall that middle portion. I know that most players prefer to see those action-packed kind of games, but I always loved watching that boomy style. I think it was Kinesi or Bonang. I'm pretty sure your Kinesi is the right person. He would just make a million walls and, wouldn't make units till about 14 minutes. And, it was, I think there's an art to that. It's just it's kind of easy to just play standard versus like, you just really get the advantage of your civ and with ports late game and being able to really take advantage of that and abuse water. I always found it really fun.
Yeah, although it seems KINGofOsmane is putting a lot of thought into this. Indeed, it took Optimus Prime a while to decide what civ. Both players taking this very slow and steady.
He could just be being spiteful, who knows. But, everyone loves looking at the 15-year-old GUI overlay for Age of Empires and just staring at flags, right?
Yeah, especially when I crop it in the way that I do.
Do you get to see the little facts in the corner that scroll the same, whatever it is?
Oh no, I should like create a separate layer and like make that even bigger so that it covers like an even bigger portion of the screen. And then we could read them out every time they change. You can actually change those facts so that it cycles through whatever you want it to.
You just make it say, cow hacks over and over again.
You could make it say whatever you want.
Or you can go into the game files and just change it.
I think that's how that works.
Yeah, I'm assuming it's just a text file that's, whatever, 4 seconds loop, 4 seconds loop. And if you added text files, you can make it say whatever you want.
Whilst we've got some time, I should probably just fix this to say who the players are. So we've got Mandarin Duck Squad. There we go.
I just learned something. I did not know there were no horses in America until the Spanish brought them over in 1540.
Oh, the more you know.
Yeah, Age of Empires teaching me things.
Yeah, I mean, I did know that, and that's I think Age of Empires 2 taught me that one, where Aztec and Maya don't have ESO down. I see. Okay, that's probably why we're waiting.
Yes.
Yeah.
Aztec and Maya don't have cavalry.
Although
to be fair, in this game, Aztec don't have cavalry either.
Yeah, that's true. Well, they're South American, but then again, Spanish had influence there too. Yeah. No, are they South American? No, they're Mexico, right?
Yeah, I think it's sort of Central America. Yeah.
Yeah, it's that bordery spot. But as someone who's becoming a high school history teacher, I have to say, Age of Empires definitely got me interested in history at like a really young age. Like just
I feel like that's something everyone says about Age of Empires, so that's clearly something they did well.
Yeah, I mean, you see all these various things, and it's rooted in actual fact on some level, right? Like part of the reason Japan can't, consume meat in the game is because in like the 1400s or whatever, Japan didn't allow meat consumption. It was only fish, and it was only, but it seems like they're readying up. Oh, Optimus Prime is not. But, although it's still built to be a game, there's a lot of reasons as to, the Spanish Armada. So, Spain has some decent naval cards, and the British Royal Navy has amazing cards.
I actually saw the Armada card get sent. And Spanish galleons. Jailed himself sent them on his on stream the other day. I was quite, wow, now I've seen everything.
Oh my god.
Yeah, looks like we are getting ready to green up. I think ESO was down, so pardon the hiccup for getting started here. It seems to be going down more often and several times a day. I think it's because there are so many people online, and obviously the servers are not used to this many people. But we do have DE on the way, so hopefully that will solve all of the connectivity issues and failed to join and a myriad of other things, I hope. But it looks like Optimus Prime has landed on ports and has locked that in response. King of Osmane, it took him a while to decide, but has landed on Japan, which I think is one of his go-to civs, certainly one that he is experienced with, being in the Yumi W clan. That is what he is known for. So, let's get into this. In a way, two boomy civs going up against each other, and I wonder when the first military unit will be trained. Thankfully, it is. Well, I don't know if thankfully, but certainly it is a land map. So probably sooner than if it was a water map, given the Portuguese strength there. But yes, Japan versus Portuguese on Iowa.
Interjection. Who is your least favorite civ? Everyone has a civ that they just can't stand going against. Who's yours? Do you have one?
Let's have a look through the list here. Going against or playing as?
Going against.
Because I think they're two different questions. Like, what civ do you least like to play against, and what civ do you least like to play with? And I think, like, against, like, maybe Ottoman, just because it feels cheap.
Broken. Yeah.
Well, it's just very easy to do, and it's also quite strong. So, I mean, that
So,
frustrates me. I used to find it really annoying to play against like Aztec and Iroquois, but on RE patch, that's kind
yeah.
of understandable. And also, I didn't like Aztec that much because I found it kind of difficult to know what they were doing. Like when
Yeah.
I was playing much more actively, Aztec would, they could be sending 3 warrior priests, which is probably the more standard thing to do, and playing a more boomy agenda. But often Aztec would just like train lots of Puma Spearmen and rush down your TC. And if you're not overly good at scouting, it's kind of hard to know which of those two things they're doing. So it felt kind of frustrating to play against. But I'd say Ottoman, completely Ottoman.
Like lame rush civs aside, like I agree with you. Ottoman's pretty broken and pretty low skill, right? You don't have to really manage your eco, and your food lasts really long because you're just not spending it on villagers and things like that. I will always hate to play against Japan because it just seems like everything they have is better. You know what I mean? You can't. It's hard to raid them because all of their resources are right in base. You keep the shrine population down, but their musketeers are so tanky and fast. It's not even the mechanics of the civ. It's more just Ashies. Their foot speed is so fast that you can't really kite them that effectively.
Yeah.
And it's like just when in doubt, Ashy out, to quote Zuda. I mean, just like you just make the Ashy ball, and then you can lame water with them. There's so many different lame aspects to Japan that I find incredibly annoying. Because at least like Otto, right? It's cheap. It's just like, okay, you have that cheap little rush or whatever, or the FF, and it's annoying, but you kind of accept it for what it is. Japan has so many different layers of annoying that they have,
Here we go. Wow, it only took 20 minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, going into game number 2. Apologies for the wait. There is, of course, a lot more people online than usual. ESO does indeed go down. But we have managed to get into the next game, and it will be Japan versus Portuguese. As you're saying, Japan can be one of the more frustrating civs, simply because they don't really need any map control. But we're actually playing against 2 civs that are sort of very difficult to, or we're seeing 2 civs that are very defensive in that way. It will be Japan in the south of the map, in the colour green, being played by KINGofOsmane, going for a 40 XP treasure right off the bat there with his explorer, his monk, and also going for 40 food treasure right away. So going to get both those monks on these small treasures, and then I imagine get back onto the map to see what he can find. In the north of the map, in the colour blue, we do have Optimus Prime. We'll be building an early market to begin with, but as you've pointed out, 75 food. Doesn't look like he quite saw it. He's gone off in a different direction, so quite a nice treasure, but not something he'll be getting.
Yeah, he's definitely he kind of split right between 2 really good early game treasures, 90 food and 75 food respectively. So it's kind of really an unfortunate scouting pattern that if he just would have gone a slight bit to the left or the slight bit to the right, he would have found one of them really early on. Would have probably changed his age up. But I think he'll eventually find them, especially if he's going to follow this explorer. And it seems like he's going to stumble upon that 90 food right now if he keeps going. Or is he going to build a TP? Nope. And Japan going with the Portuguese consulate to lower the cost of both their age up and the overall cost of their buildings. He's going to get that 90 food, which is really good. And, what do you expect to see from the matchup, Interjection?
What do I expect to see? Yeah, my mic, you're right, my mic is quite loud. Let's turn mine down. Let's turn yours up. Hopefully that will be better. Keep me posted. Seems much lower audio-wise. Okay, Comic K. Let's just turn you back up again. Right, what do I expect to see? I don't expect there to be overly much happening in terms of military for the first 10 minutes of the game. I think both players are going to be very economically focused. We're going to see Japan, as you pointed out, he's got Portuguese consulate. I expect we'll see him age with the Toshogu Shrine as usual, and indeed get Heavenly Kami. So just play all 3 of those of that sort of greedy Japan style, shrine the map up, and send 4 villages, and eventually go to Fortress Age. There's Heavenly Kami coming in first. And I think ports, obviously they don't have villager shipments, But I think we'll see him play similarly in the sense that he'll want to maximize his boom with his 2 TCs. He'll be very diligent about that, and will also go up to the Fortress Age. And I think that's where the game will sort of take place. So maybe we'll see Ports try and get out onto the map with the Stagecoach and use his 700 wood shipment to lock down these trading posts and perhaps put his next town center in the middle. I think that's I think that's the best next way Port can boom, whilst Japan builds shrines. So I think that's probably what we'll see. There might be, potential for Ports to build a barracks, get some pikes out, and have them roaming around on the map whilst he's booming, taking down some of the shrines. Although there is a nearly mature bear cub. Change to full screen. Okay, there you go. Whoopsie.
Is that the OP bear? Oh, Gentle Pete, the OP bear. Isn't he did they nerf that? Because I think in H2, he becomes very, very powerful. Or is that the Honcho bear? I'm not really sure. But, we do, I don't know if you noticed, he got 130, Japan got 135 XP as a treasure in Age 1, which might really affect the flow of early game shipments.
I was just checking everything was right. Which it is.
No problem.
Okay, ATP coming out. So yeah, I that's definitely a glaring omission of my analysis of what was likely to happen. And that makes a lot of sense. Japan is not going to get any of these trading posts, so even though this is not a particularly high trading post map, your opponent's not going to be on the route at all, so you can quickly grab all 3. And he's making sure that he can get all 3 without Japan stealing one by using 2 of his villages to start chucking them down ASAP.
Yep, and he's going to get the bear.
The bear?
Yeah, the bear that was attacking him.
Ah, yes. I thought we'd already seen that bear being claimed. I thought that happened a while ago. You're a bit behind, but you mean kill the bear, right?
Yeah, no, the bear was going to try and kill him while he was building it, but he got that first shot off, and he was probably going to still be able to build it pretty easily anyway. But nice little. I think you get like 20 XP for the bear, so you get 120 from the just building the TP line. 30 from the bear kind of offsets the 135 XP that was gotten Age 1 from King-of-Osmane.
TC out on the map. Looks like it wants to be built sort of out here on the side there. Yeah, just going to plop it down next to this hunt. On the corner of the map, it's not supplying that much map control, but it is indeed next to a hunt and a mine, and there's another mine fairly nearby. So there are resources there. And also making use of the advanced trading post to grab this Inca settlement. So is going to have, a bit of extra XP income, and that makes total sense. ATP drastically reduces the cost of the trading post, indeed gives them that ranged attack, which gives you map control, which and also, of course, that XP bonus that we get now from the native villages. Do we have anything particularly useful from the Inca? We've got infantry speed, 20%, which is quite a lot, and Chasqui messengers, which decreases the train speed. And indeed, Inca metalworking, which increases mine gather rates. I don't think that one would be overly helpful.
More simply, you could just make Inca, because you can siege down all these shrines while you're booming. And
yes, and that's exactly what he's doing. You're right. Very well pointed out. There they are. Just a couple, but they do have really high siege, 48 siege.
Yeah, he's going for both of them. He's going to just dominate all trading posts. I'm pretty sure he's only missing those 2 down there. Are they both Inca up there?
No, the second one is Lakota.
Oh, yeah, so he can go, like you were saying earlier, he can go get those dog soldiers if he wants. But he can just, kind of coast off of this TP economy, because Japan is really hunkering down for a full Japan eco build. He's just maxing out his shrines. He's building a wall.
Look at this native treaties coming out as well. Oh, this is brilliant. Yeah, it delivers 3 Lakota Axe Riders, which... don't appear to be very similar at all to regular Axe Riders. Their HP is considerably higher and their hand attack much lower than normal Axe Riders. But 3. That's actually a really strong shipment. Native treaties is actually pretty good if you have a reason to get those trading posts. Which, if you sent advanced TP, you do. And certainly the Inca sieging. This is really, really nice. Like, there's a lot of very cool things happening here in terms of synergy.
Yeah, very non-standard. It's something I like to see. It's also, he's going to be able to kind of keep the Japan player contained, and he knows where he is. So, he wanders too far from his base, he can, raid him or just be annoying. He can also put pressure on the explorers, and these Inca are just going to siege down all the shrines pretty much uncontested, at least on the, parts of his base that are near him. He's got siege over here, he's got siege over here, he's just, and he's probably going to walk over here at some point.
It seems that the units over this side are the ones that he got for free from the native treaty shipment. Mixed in, we've got 3 Bolas, I believe, and 2 Huaminka. The Bolas, not sort of grenadiers, but have very, very low siege. I say grens because they're a bit of a weird unit, actually.
Yeah, 8 bestieros on the map now, too. So he's going to, have a little competition with the Inca, but I think the Inca are going to just obliterate them in movement speed, as well as, nope, he's going to get caught. Is he? Okay, he backed off. But he did lose 1 Lakota there, which is going to be important for keeping those bestieros off the Incas. And also, I think he has to start sieging down one of these trade posts, right? I mean, Optimus Prime is going to just be raining in XP and resources, and he's got to probably not go full boomy. Although he did send 4 settlers twice.
Yeah, Japan's now got his eco rolling, right? He's built a few shrines off the 600 wood and sent 4 vills twice after that, as you pointed out. So his eco is looking pretty good, and managed to get those besterios and those ashes out now that the eco is up and running, and using those units to start sieging down this trading post, yes. And looks like that monk getting into position to build that, and makes absolute sense, right, given the stagecoach is up and running.
I'm not trying to interrupt, but he's also built the Bowl of Warriors, too. He didn't just build the human.
The Bolus were from the native treaty shipment.
They're from. Oh, pardon me, I didn't know. So he's got. Okay, this is an interesting build. This is honestly really exciting.
Yeah, I love the synergy. Like, ATP is really good here, especially against Japan, because, like I said, and then if you're getting those 2 trading posts anyway for the XP and to train the Inca, it makes so much sense to send native treaties. Like, this build just makes so much sense. It looked really good to begin with. We'll see how it sort of keeps up with Japan, because of course he has now taken that trading post, has now built the first one on the route, getting his very first pass of resources there, and his army sort of moving forwards towards the center. So I guess there is that. It looks like Optimus Prime. It looks like he's getting ready to go to industrial, but he's which I believe he is gonna do. Yeah, he's already fortress. There it is, IV in queue. And he's sort of giving up the route for this, but he is going to be in the industrial age pretty quick.
Yeah.
In his deck. His deck is really, really well built for this as well. He's got 6 Elmete in there, a lot of artillery, and indeed 16 musketeers as well. So, which, can become Guerrero, although I think they'll just be sent to defend the artillery is the more likely use case there. But, he's going to lose his trading route for this. Let's see what KINGofOsmane has a bit of a window to get some, do a bit of catch-up. But he will be up against an industrial age opponent. So he needs to make what he does now count, because he's only got a limited amount of time to do really what he wants to, which, by the looks of it, appears to be take down the trading route, build it himself, and indeed go to the fortress age. He's now up with the golden pavilion. So he's up.
He's gonna need some housing. Like he's 42 of 50, and whatever he sends, I mean, he's gonna have to build some army. So he should drop some houses soon. But it's gonna be interesting what we see from him in Age 4, because he's got 2 shipments stacked, and Japan Age 3 is still kind of scary. Although he's been doing a good job, keeping the shrines in check. He still has 170 shrine pop.
Which is pretty good, and 3 stagecoach. So yeah, Japan he's got a very strong eco, but I don't know. We're like 12 minutes into the game, and yes, his economy is really strong. But look at ports; it's 41. 41 is not that far behind, and the sheer power of the shipments that are going to be coming out, I think, will be able to contest Japan. It will be able to keep up with him. So basically, Japan needs to weather the storm now. He's had his opportunity to get some work done, and he certainly did. Achieved that. He got the whole stagecoach route. So can he weather the storm? That's the question, because we're going to see 2 heavy cannons coming any second now, and it's going to be really, really powerful.
Incan road building being researched? I have no idea what that does.
It's 20% infantry speed. I checked it sort of earlier in the game. But flaming arrows do get a volley onto the heavy cannons there. They're now retasked. 1 volley on each for, look, 5 HP remaining. Oh, the overkill
That's rude.
The area damage does finish it off, but, like, that's not ideal, is it, when you're left with 5 HP? But, yeah, just trying to focus that last heavy cannon down. Those 2 flaming arrows got a really nice trade, I think. And the best area is just trying to finish off that remaining falconet there. Pardon me, heavy cannon. But, yeah, so far, so good. Japan's handled the first shipment quite nicely. And artillery really are the scary ones. Japan not built really to deal all that well with artillery. They obviously have Yabusame, but really the way they end up dealing with them is just focusing them down, and having been able to kill off one of the strongest, basically the scariest shipment so far. Really, really nice. 3 Naginata coming in, looking to get on top of that heavy cannon. Has 115 HP. Is targeting the Nagi. I think they're going to be able to finish it off.
No.
15 HP. I think it's. Oh, that's not ideal. Yeah, and with road building coming in, he's just gonna be able to move around the map so quick. Here comes 5 organ guns.
Oh my God!
This is a lot of artillery.
It might be worth it to build a priest to bring that heavy cannon back, but having 5 organ guns really makes it not necessary.
Priest would be pretty good right now. It actually would be, to heal the heavy cannon up.
That'd be fun.
Although building it's like you have to build a church, which is 100 wood, and then you have to spend 150 coin on a priest, and it takes 40 seconds for the priest to train. And by the time all of that's happened, the game's changed way too much, and it's just like the priest just takes too long to get. But yeah, here comes Flaming Arrow, trying to be really careful with it, because he just needs to get that final volley on that heavy cannon. Ooh, big volley! Can he keep, because he just needs to keep the heavy cannon away from the Japan player. If he can just keep it at the back nice and safe and get the odd shot off and really make Japan, just not quite, just keep it, just dangle that carrot just out of reach. He can never quite get to it. Look at him being so careful with that flaming arrow. He's just trying to snipe down these artillery. He cannot get close to the Portuguese player right now.
Now there's 3 flaming arrows, and, he can at least just... He can send one up almost like as a sacrificial lamb, and then he can kind of get the other. But it's 3 horse artillery coming. This is a fun game. I'm loving these shipments, man. These H4 port unit shipments.
Yeah. This build in general was actually really, really wonderful to see.
Yeah.
But, yeah, here we go. Japan coming forward with the fast-moving Ashi. Is going to go back a bit. As you pointed out, has trained a few more Flaming Arrow. And is starting to... Look at the trade route as well. The Huaminka, by the looks of it, went off and destroyed this trading post over here, and now it's being rebuilt. Obviously, it's very cheap with ATP. Port's back on the map. He's back in business. He's got his eco rolling. The 2 TCs, in fact, 3 TCs, because you get one for free every time you age up. His eco is really starting to pull ahead, and he's got that route as well. He's just maintaining so much map control in the center. And veteran musketeer. Will we see Guerrero musketeer? It is the same as Redcoats, but for ports. Yeah. And I would love to see that be teched. He's got 1,000 coin for it, and I imagine all these trading posts are toggle to wood. It's quite an expensive upgrade, so really quite difficult to get in. But he's got a lot of artillery. It would really be worth teching into those musks for that juicy composition.
Yeah, he's now 216 of 200 pops. So I'm pretty sure he just sent a really big mercenary shipment or something to that effect.
Yeah, 6 Elmetsi, I think, on the way, or 3 horse.
Eco pulling ahead, but this raid is coming in.
It is.
But it's going to be real.
They both have...
You also got the 6... Go ahead.
They both have really awesome, annoying, fast-moving units now. The Ashi running around in the raid here. A few musketeers being pulled to handle that. And blue, plenty of musks there now. Those green Ashi going to try and get away. But also these Huaminka on the other side of the map. Remember, these are really powerful siege, and he's got road building in from the Inca village. And he's just using them to destroy the shrines. They move so quickly now. Here we go. So the unit shipment that you saw, it was 3 horse cannons, and there they are. Look at the artillery. This is absolutely insane. And Guerrero Musks now just coming in, and dog soldiers being teched at the Lakota settlement. If I ever seen so many natives being played, this is fantastic. And the Almete, how did he squeeze all that in? And the out of sync, brilliant. Oh, what a game. I think,
oh my
and he's
God.
pushing just as Japan's aging as well. I don't know what to do, because obviously the out of sync is very frustrating. But I'm telling you now, I don't think Japan, given that they were aging up at the exact moment he was pushing with 40 Guerrero Musketeers, 3 horse cannons, a heavy cannon, 5 organ guns, and 6 Almeti, and Lakota dog soldiers being teched, and he was bringing his Incan natives back as well. I'm fairly confident that we can give the victory there.
Oh, absolutely. I will die on that hill. He 100% had that win, and it was a glorious win. I mean, especially the 16-minute placer mine upgrade, but, it was, oh my God. Like, that was an amazing game. He had everything, and he was just going to roll. Like, especially, too, with those natives, even though he was 216, he was going to be able to make more units because they don't take up any military population. That's why he was able to do that big dog soldier pop at 216, because they don't take up any military population.
No, it's a tech, isn't it? So you just click the button and the tech starts researching. And obviously, well, when they arrive, they cost pop. Well, actually, I don't even think they do. They're native units. It's not like they're Sioux units. But
natives don't cost any population.
Yeah, you can overpop with the Sioux, but this is like overpopping, but it's not even overpopping. It's glorious. Oh man, what a
game.
That was great.
What a game.
My favourite parts of that were the first 3 minutes where I had the wrong overlay up and you guys had this weird elongated screen that I then ignored chat until all of the yelling stopped. So I didn't get to see any of the yelling, which is good for me. And then my second favourite bit was the end there where it went out of sync. So overall, a splendid game.
Overall.
No, but in all honesty.
Yeah.
Oh, that was really, really spectacular to see that build.
Yeah, that's like, it's builds like that and games like that you're just like, this is why we still play this game. You know what I mean? Because there's still stuff like that can go on. And it's just so much fun.
Yeah, well, it just you're absolutely right. But I think like Iowa in particular, using Lakota, one of the sort of legacy natives, so to speak, that was replaced when the Sioux came out with Cheyenne. I don't know, Cheyenne just don't have the same appeal as Lakota in terms of like what's on offer there, like dog soldiers, and the Inca are just good as well because of the siege. And in that particular matchup, pikes were just helpful because of the shrines that you could kill. Oh, and they were only made possible because it was viable to send ATP in the first place. Just everything came together to make that port build just absolutely exquisite.
I like genuinely almost need a minute. Like, it was
now that the chat's going, yeah. I'm pretty sure King of Osmane won that.
Oh, I'd have to say, like...
Pardon me, I mean Optimus Prime. King of Osmane was playing Japan, so Japan didn't win that. Oh, we're going to reload it. So file transfer started for OOS recovery. We can. So we're gonna finish it. Oh, yes, we're gonna back in. We get to see Japan get crushed. Oh, this is good. This is what I wanted.
Okay, it says, for me, it says file. I've never done this before. It says file transfer started, OS recovery, gives the date. I'm assuming that's all I need to do and just sit.
Yeah. We just go back in and it's all Gucci. We're in the right slots. This is what we needed. This is good.
Awesome. I am so happy. Like, I want to see the crescendo there. It's like we got a little tease. It's like the power went out right as
I wonder why it out of synced. I can't green.
Oh, you can't green? I'm good.
Let me close my game as well. Did you restart your game entirely?
No, I greened up. I was fine.
Okay.
So I'll
It's just
stay,
when
but
out
if
of
you
syncs happen, it's a good idea to like completely restart the game. But maybe we'll be
I'll
okay.
do it right. Would you like me to? I can do that.
Well, ask the players what they did, because I don't see the point in you doing it if they haven't. Oh man, what a game. God, that was juicy.
Yeah, I'm just talking with them about what they want me to do. I told them that should I reboot my game, I'm greened up and fine. Just waiting for them to reply. Do you want to reboot?
Okay. Oh no, I can't green. Oh, it's because it's downloading.
Okay, it says if I'm green, it doesn't matter. Okay, so I'm good.
Can't green, so I guess it is downloading.
Yeah, you give it a minute. Like we need to see this happen.
Let's bring. we gotta play this clip. We gotta play this clip. We gotta play this. This just gotta happen. It's just gonna happen, isn't it? Let's just play this clip.
I don't go back and watch streams, especially ones that I've casted, right? But I'm gonna go back and watch that because it was
Display
just that much fun.
capture. There we go. Let's fade. Are you ready, guys? Absolutely insane. And Guerrero Musks now just coming in. And dog soldiers being teched at the Lakota settlement. If I ever seen so many natives being played, this is fantastic. And the Almete, how did he squeeze all that in? And the out of sync. The out of sync. Brilliant. Oh, what a game. That's a really good clip as well. That's actually really good.
What clip did you show?
Just like the very final moments of the game, like where I'm literally just going. He's got 40 Guerrero Musks and 5 organ guns, and how did he get these Almete? And Lakotas are coming too, and out of sync. Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
and I'm basically just laughing when Taunt 31 happens. Let's go, baby.
Yes.
All right then, ladies and gentlemen, let's resume. Possibly we're just greening in to see King of Osmane get absolutely crushed. He has got like 9 pieces of artillery coming at him, like 6 2,000 hit point cavalry units. I believe they're going to pause at the start here. It's just so ridiculous. Oh, let's switch to military units and see what they've got. 60 Guerrero Musks, 5 organs, 3 horse art, 6 Elmete, a few Inca dudes, a heavy cannon, and King of Osmane's aging. It was not meant to be.
It's so sad. I don't know how to feel about that. I want to see the crescendo so bad. Oh, I'm gonna exit the game.
Yeah, I guess we'll wait for direction.
Was that game number 2?
It was.
This is great. It feels like we've casted for 3 hours and it's been 2 games. I'm having a great time and I don't mind, but it's more just like that game. Yeah, we've been at it for an hour and 15 for 2 games. And I'm pretty sure, his opponent knows that he lost. So he's just going to sit there and be like, yeah, I lost that game. We don't have to redo that. I just would have loved to have seen it.
In a way, I feel like that was the better ending because people were just like, the clip is actually pretty good.
Yeah,
And the fact that it's just so tantalizingly out of reach, and that we'll never finally get to see Osmane get to deliver the final blow. In a way, it's kind of bittersweet that it's like you never really get.
It creates a better story.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like instead of like it's this amazing build and it goes perfectly executed and the timing is perfect and he's about to just retake the entire map and just blow Japan out of the water, and right as he goes to right click, it's just nope.
One sec, I'll be right back.
Are you here, interjection, or no?
Are you ready?
All right.
All right, your file transfer. All right. Let's see if we can get this going. I'm not going to touch anything, and I'm just going to pray to the ESO gods that we get to see the crescendo of this game.
Man, I don't think it will work. I don't want to get people excited.
Oh, I'm going to get him excited because can we get like an F in the chat so that we can get this to work? Can we just drop like 25 Fs?
Are you ready?
Here we go.
Here we go. Okay. I'm not going to touch anything.
Yes.
Fingers crossed.
My screen's in a decent place.
Oh! Oh!
There we go.
It's working.
It seems it.
Ooh.
Flaming arrows. Okay.
Stop it!
Why? The game just doesn't even know what to do because he's 211 of 200. When your build is so good, it breaks the game.
People were saying it might be the dog soldiers. No, it wouldn't be the dog soldiers. It's more likely to do with.
Is Portuguese capable of overpopping or no? Yeah, right?
Yeah.
At 200? There's no reason that would break it.
Yeah, that's not going to be it. And yes, you can overpop because you can get 200 pop and then send best areas.
Yeah, or you can even, just 12-10. Like, there's plenty of opportunities to overpop. I mean, I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's true. You can have like 199 pop and ship a mercenary Mediterranean army or some 6L Meta or whatever you want. Yeah, I don't think it's gonna keep working. I think the best thing to do going forward is to give personally. I mean, I think it is quite obvious that that King of Osmane was going to lose that.
Yeah, would it change if I, recused myself from that game and you could try it that way, or do I need to be a part of it because I'm part of the OOS?
Yeah, I think you have to be there.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it just physically won't load. I think it's like it's made in such a way that you can't. It just won't load unless all the players have exactly the same name. I wonder though if you could like reload that game on Game Ranger or like a custom LAN game where you've like changed the name of all the profiles and you like try and get it to work that way. That might be fun.
Yeah. We'll never know. It'll go down in history as one of the best Age of Empires games I've ever seen.
It'll go down as one of like the most creative build orders, certainly.
Yeah. It was wild. I loved it.
I mean, like in terms of was it the best game ever played? Probably not. Was it a really entertaining and like very well thought out build order? Yes, that was exactly. It was actually glorious.
I still think that one game, I think it was years ago, you either casted it. It was I think A's versus Mito on Saguenay or Hudson Bay or one of those, and you got Mito making Iron Troop and A's making Spies, and like every conceivable unit was in the game, and it went like 47 minutes. It was glorious.
There's a game where Mito and A's like played for like 30 minutes and then all their vills got killed because of like just jamming them into a fight. Admins have given Optimus the win.
Yeah, that's 100% agreed.
I'm being told that in the Discord as well.
I'm seeing it as well. Just not reporting it.
To be fair, it was very clear.
Yes.
Oh, so then we could keep loading. Because now King of Osmane's refusing to play. I mean, I wouldn't say it was an impossibility, but I think it's very, very, very likely that Optimus Prime wins. I understand being in his position.
Uh,
Hold on, let's discuss with the admins more.
Well, I've just given the whole game away, so I'm not even sure he can. Yeah, right, saying Opti was way ahead. I mean, obviously he's disappointed because he would rather play the game out, but I'm pretty sure he lost. Obviously, you can never actually be sure. There could be a world where, with perfect control, that he could have won that. But was it this world? Well, unfortunately, we don't get to find out. So I think we have to go with our gut instinct, which I don't know. I think it was quite clear who was in the lead based on economic population, based on who was controlling the stagecoach, based on who had the most town centres, based on who had the largest army and was in the industrial age with 6 Elmeti. I said all the things. He just had a very large army that was fully teched, and Lakota on the way. Yeah, let's switch. You try it. You rejoin it. Are you in? Let me know when I can rejoin. You here?
Can you... Hello. Yeah, something that's weird. The audio keeps messing up. Do you recall if I was below you or above you?
Yeah, this is what I'm saying. You leave the game and then join it again.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
We'll just try it that way. And if that doesn't work, then I want to move on to the next one because there's another series after this.
Yeah, I mean, it's not letting me. He's got to refresh the slot. There we go.
You just got to leave and join it.
I did, but it was just kept putting me. It keeps putting me in fourth.
Yeah.
refresh
Okay,
slot.
we can swap.
No, it's gonna. It even puts me at the bottom no matter what.
Oh, it must be that you can't even join that room unless you've got the right name. I don't know.
Yeah, I think I'd have to be fourth, right? Because if I joined 3 times and
Yeah, so, yeah.
run it, King of Osmane did say he's refusing to play if we don't finish this game.
Oh, he did say that, did he?
Yeah, he said that he's out if he thinks he can win it. Hold on, Osmane.
Alright, guys, we're going to talk to the admins and we'll be back soon. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we will be moving on to Bering Straits. It is really, really unfortunate that we couldn't finish that. Not only because it was a genuinely spectacular game, I was really, really impressed with Optimus's
Hell of a game.
build order.
Hell of a game.
But King of Osmane really wanted to play that out.
But we can't blame him for wanting to play it out. It seemed pretty definitive that Optimus Prime was about to just roll in there with all of his artillery, map control, eco lead, and military advantage. Unfortunately, we can't finish it, but let's move on. We still have a really good matchup. Series is 1-1, right?
Yeah, this is game 3, so yeah, the score is now 1-1.
Yeah, and Bering Strait is an interesting map. It kind of reminds me of Kamchatka a little bit. Let's see, Optimus Prime and Civs are still in, it looks like they're still Civ picking, things like that. Hold on, just clarifying. But, did King of Osmane just leave?
It appears that he's not in the lobby.
Oh, no, he's good. He's back. He's back.
All right. So, there will be a full admin discussion of why the decision was made, based on the evidence, I suppose, from what we could see of the game. Mr. Brownboy will post that later on ESOC for anyone that wants, I suppose, an official statement from the ESOC administration. Wow, this sounds all very posh, doesn't it? I'm rather enjoying saying these words, as if I think we take ourselves a bit too seriously sometimes. Really, it's just a game between two guys that were like, we're on these teams and stuff, and I want to win, but I can't play it. And let's hope Definitive Edition solves these issues. My goodness, there's 3,400 people online. That's actually insane.
We must defer to our magistrates and governors in these, harsh times of deciding who wins a 15-year-old game. But it is a huge population. It's kind of, it's unfortunate circumstances as to why the population of AoE is so high right now. But I love to see it. I love to see people playing this game, knowing about the game, enjoying it. I just love the community that the game has created. I genuinely enjoy being a part of this game. I'm more so like this now that I enjoy playing it. I think you feel the same way at this point.
Sorry, what? I'm watching so many streams recently. I'm just sitting there, like, even if they're just in the background, it's just fun to watch. When I'm eating my lunch, there's always an Age of Empires stream to watch now, or eating my dinner or whatever. Like, it's like, it's so easy to seek this out, and it's actually like, it's insane how far we've come. I was speaking to Aze earlier. We were just having a quick call, because, that's what you do. And Aze was saying, like, back in the day, there weren't really that many casters, and now we've got, like, there's obviously Harrison is pulling a lot of weight in terms of the quantity of casting, but there is just more people casting in general, which is really nice to see. And also just the number of players in games that, like, it used to be the case that, we just have Maito versus Ace every week for SmackDown or whatever it was. But now it's just like, in general, there's this huge uptick, and that's, that has to do with Age of Empires being back in the zeitgeist, so to speak, and certainly this global health pandemic is probably keeping people on their PCs more, but certainly a mixture of the two. Either way, nice to see lots of people online. Game number 3, we are about to begin. We are well behind schedule now. The games prior to this series were, they ended late. So this series, which has had some, quite a few slow starts in terms of getting the games going, and then obviously that hiccup we just witnessed for game 2, which we sadly were not able to finish. And it would appear this game is also going to be one where the players want to really decide what civilizations they've got. Maybe it's ESO, actually. I mean, I can green up, you can as well. So King of Osmane, I pick first. Well, I guess I hope they weren't just sitting there staring at their screens. But it appears that they were, because King of Osmane is now asking the question. I pick first.
Now, are the rules like, the person who lost gets the advantage? Okay, so technically Osmane gets to... I think King of Osmane should get the advantage, because while he did lose, right, he was kind of shorted a little bit. You know what I mean? Like just in the smallest of ways. I mean, I think we should amend that, but that would be an admin decision. So does he
I
pick
believe
first?
the rules are set that it's not like, I'll say traditional New World Championship rules. I believe that it's more similar to the original ESOC rules in the sense that going first and picking second is predetermined on which games you will be allowed to do that. So
Got it.
it's not a case of who won previously. I do see where you're coming from because we weren't able to finish it out, but you do need to follow the rules of the tournament down to the letter, simply to maintain tournament integrity going forward. If you create precedents now, it's just not ideal.
Understood. Okay, so does he pick first?
I have no idea because, as I said, you can't just work it out. Like that's partly why the other rules are easier to.
Yeah, that's what I remember.
Let's ask. We both asked at the same time.
Now, did you beat me on your screen, or did I beat you on your screen? Because on my screen, I beat you by a half second.
Oh, I beat you here. Huh.
That's funny.
I
Identical.
thought Discord might reorder. Game 3, who locked first in game 2? I have no idea.
Game two is such a blur at this point.
It's alternating no matter what. Osmane. You beat me there.
Yeah, but I spelled it wrong.
Yeah, so I'll dock a point.
Yeah, minus a point.
I'm not sure how points are scored here. I guess each second is a point. Yeah, that sounds fair.
You know what? Let's make it like golf, where more points is bad.
Oh, I see. Where there's a set number of points, and you have to get underneath the points.
Yeah.
Wow, they should make all sports like. Can you imagine if all sports were like that? They're like, here's the benchmark, and if you go above this, then you're bad. Sports are framed in this way of you have to.
The worst. It's the worst. I hate. Can't we just have a consistent scoring system for almost all sports? And I love American football, but why is it 6-3, 2-1 in how to score? You know what I mean? It's just so odd.
Looks like KINGofOsmane will pick Dutch, and I'm going to sandbag you there because I have absolutely no idea how American football works, so I cannot comment. Although I am commenting on the fact that I can't comment, which is very meta.
No, it's at least with soccer, right? You get the ball in the net, it's 1, and it's always 1, no matter if you score from the opposite end or you're right next to it, it's still 1. Same with hockey. Very clear and complete scoring system. Then you have basketball where it's sometimes 1, 2, and 3. Okay, I can get behind that, varying degrees of difficulty. But then football is just, you have 6, you have 1 for the extra point, you have 2 for the potential extra point thing, and then 2 for the safety, and everything should be 1 or 2.
Maybe AoE3 should be scored in the amount of points you rack up at the end of the game.
Oh my god, imagine.
Wow, how would that change? That'd be a really weird tournament where, it's whatever your score is at the very end of the game is your... Oh, but how would that work? Would you, resign at a...
I guess it would be a situation where... Because, you couldn't play Russia, right? Because their score is always undervalued. And you'd have to go for the most expensive things possible to get this. So you'd have to make, all the most expensive units for every one of your pop.
Oh yeah, and now you take Blood Brothers and what's that one that gives you advanced fortifications or whatever? You just get tons of you get thousands of shadow points for no reason.
You'd have to also delete all your vills because they're technically only worth 10 of them are worth every point of score is 1,000, right? Or something like that.
Yeah, well, I think these questions are interesting, but in practice it would probably never work. But it looks like, ladies and gentlemen, we will be going into game number 3. To recap what happened, the first game was taken by... Oh, it says...
Host canceled the game?
Yeah, well, I guess I'll do my intro when we actually are going into the next game, but it looked like it was about to launch, so the fact that he was able to cancel that was quite impressive.
Yeah.
Or maybe ESO's down and it just, didn't manage to launch.
I'm in, but
you in the game?
No, I'm in the lobby.
Oh,
Not
right.
the lobby, the pre-lobby or whatever. The browser to find games.
Well, that's the thing.
Custom
Like,
game
it doesn't
browser.
always, like, parts of it shut down. Like, you can still, like, log in, but then, like, it can't launch. It's, I don't know. It's an old server. Needs to be updated to be modern. All right.
Indeed, it does.
Let's do that. Let's do that again, because I imagine this particular game will be cut for YouTube.
You would hope.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to game number 3 in the best of 5 series. Pardon me, play all 5 series between Optimus Prime and King of Osmane. The score is 1-1. King of Osmane won the very first game, and sadly, let's catch you up to speed on game 2, where we were not able to finish the game. It was a really, really quite spectacular game. As I said, I was very impressed with Optimus Prime's build. Advanced trading post, getting the natives, actually, finding a useful use for the Inca, as well as obviously that XP that you get simply because that's what they give you now. But it was a really, really fantastic game. It is just a shame that we were not able to finish it. There will be a post on ESOC later explaining why the admin decision was made, but the point was given to Optimus Prime. We will now continue the series from a 1-1 scoreline. Spawning on the right-hand side of the map in the colour green, we do have King of Osmane, playing as, indeed, the Dutch here. And his explorer getting out onto the map does find himself 95 wood, a really, really nice treasure. And is going to start kiting the white tigers for that. His opponent, playing as Japan. It's kind of swapped. Optimus Prime now playing Japan. This is of course King of Osmane's main civ, I should say. His the one he prefers to play, the one he's certainly most experienced with. But now Optimus Prime playing it, so perhaps a bit of role reversal. What will he do though? Certainly building the consulates, as we would expect Japan to do. So he's going to get that Portuguese consulate. And perhaps he'll get Heavenly Kami as well. I suppose that is the question. That's a wood treasure. And this is a wood treasure. There's a lot of wood treasures. And that's a... Oh, that one's not so good. I thought you were about to point out another 80 wood treasure. I was about to be gobsmacked at how many 80 wood treasures were possible and obtainable on this map. It appears Pizampano has disappeared. Oh, there he is.
It cut me out again. I don't know why, but I was basically saying, he stumbled upon this 80 wood treasure that he was right next to his base, and he's going to have an amazing start to Age 1, was really all I was saying.
Yeah, although I think it's quite fair, because they both got a huge wood treasure each. One is worth 10 more than the other, but certainly still very, very big treasures. I think the question is who will get the next big treasure. 80 food... That's, I guess the green player has eyes on that, but he's not really in a position to take it, but does pick himself up. Good lord, another wood treasure. Wow, there's so many, I'm losing count, but yeah, King of Osmane, that's what you were pointing out. Yeah, that's a huge amount of wood. It's going to be so easy to get that Dutch bank.
Yeah, I apologize for the technical difficulties. I have no idea why I just get booted out randomly, but either way, that's a huge start for Dutch. I mean, that's like a very early bank. He could even probably work in a TP if he really wants to. If he goes down and he now has seen this treasure for 40 wood, he'll have 215 wood Age 1. It's an amazing start.
Oh my god, this bank's gonna be so quick. We'll have to keep an eye on when he places it, but normally you're sort of placing that bank just as you hit up to Colonial, sometimes just after, so he's gonna get that up in very, very good time, which is going to be really, really nice for Dutch. He's gonna have that XP well before he's aged from the bank, and he can get his first shipment in queue just easy peasy. Sometimes that is an issue, and obviously the flexibility, you can get a market a bit sooner. You can just, everything's going to be really, really nice for Dutch, I think is what we're trying to say. The question on my mind is how will King of Osmane handle himself up against Japan? Of course, he is very well known for his Japan, as I was saying. There's the bank at just after the halfway mark. That's insane. That is actually insane. That's
That's wild.
That's a bank. That's a bank. So yeah, how will he handle himself against against someone playing Japan? I expect KINGofOsmane will be very, very familiar with what to do. But as far as this kind of matchup goes, it's interesting because neither player is likely to be particularly aggressive. And we can see that Heavenly Kami already coming out from Optimus Prime here. He's got the Portuguese consulate now going up with the Toshogu Shrine, fully expecting him to, send 600 wood followed by 4 vills twice, have a huge eco. And Dutch is very much going to do similar things. He's going to get his banks down, 400 wood now on the floor from the age up. Likely to see him build a bank out of that. I don't see why he would want a barracks off the 200 wood immediately, because Japan's not going to be aggressive. Yeah, there's the bank right now. And we'll get that barracks or stable. No, it'll be a barracks for pikemen. Off the 700 wood. Both players just going to take it very slow and optimize their booms.
Yeah, maybe he goes trade post here. I mean, I don't really foresee it too much, but...
Well, that's such a good point. Like, that amazing wood stat, right? Like, you can so much more easily do something like that based off of that start. So, that's very possible. I think you're onto something.
Yeah. I mean, he has the flexibility where if he really wants to just control the shrine pop, he can go build his barracks and build 5 pike, and I think he's going for a 3rd bank instead, and a barracks. So there's RIP trade post dreams, but
yeah, I mean this is fine too. It's not as like spicy. He's just doing all the same things you would normally do as Dutch, but quicker, which is fair enough. I just wondered if he'd try and squeeze a TP in, and if you're going to do that, you would do that sooner rather than later, simply because, well, XP is better the sooner you have it. And of course, your ultimate goal is still to go to the Fortress Age and possibly even the Industrial Age. That's not out of the question for Dutch. Certainly has 1,000 coin in his deck there, although not too heavy cannons or any other kind of support. So probably just going to play it out in Fortress, but not looking to get that trading post in, so just going to do all the normal things Dutch would do. Market coming down, now teching hunting dogs. I'm sure we'll still steel traps after that, and there's a barracks in the back of his base there. Let's check units in queue. We see some pikemen.
Yeah, as expected, he's going to go and control the Shrine Pop and try to transition to Age 3. Same with the Optimus Prime. He's going to just try to get to Age 3 while booming. Maybe put a little pressure on with some musks, but I doubt really. He's more just going to plan to chase pikes around with the musks. House is going down. Oh, there it is. There it is.
Yeah.
I am so excited.
Yeah, he did put it in the end, so but not as early as I thought he might. He prioritized the other buildings first, but something he wants to do then. We mentioned the reasons why it's good. I don't really think we need to really go over that again. But some pikemen now coming out of that barracks, and they've managed to find a shrine. So I think the story of this will be pikes, a few pikes running around the map, killing off the shrines, and it will be on the, of course, a Japanese player to defend them. So we're probably going to see him follow up with a barracks. Yeah, it's being built now. Can get those ashes out and defend the shrines. But started with 3 Naginata, which have made their way across the map. Not ideal against, of course, the pikemen, but they do find a villager, and I suppose they can raid. Certainly do get a villager kill there.
Yeah, I mean, but he's going to lose a Nagi, and most of Dutch's eco really isn't even vills. It's all banks and such. But the skirms. I mean, this is, he's getting tremendous value from this, which he really shouldn't have, you know what I mean? But
yeah,
he only got 1 vill, 1 pikeman.
I think he would have got a lot more done if he had 5 Nagi, just because like the pack power there is higher. But yeah, he got a few hits in on a skirm, which is quite nice. But I think the important thing to point out is these pikes have ran back all the way across the map. There's actually quite a few shrines up here, and that chap is starting to build a few more up in that direction as well. So having pulled all of these pikes back is keeping those alive, or not. They're not under siege.
Yeah, I mean, now he's reinforcing the Nagis. He's doubling down, knowing that there's 5 pikes on the board. And I mean, maybe he just wants to annoy him and keep him contained while his Explorer goes around and builds. But both Investieros, I mean, I am unsure.
Okay,
and then
so
he's just making skirms into this.
I like this. This is Japan. Oh, he did get up. No. This is Japan. This is Japan playing it differently. He's, King of Osmane's very used to or very good at that sort of Japanese greedy boomy style, but what we're seeing here from Optimus is colonial, sustained colonial pressure. He started with the stable, which is, well, unusual in and of itself. I think it worked out. It pulled the pikes home and kept his shrines alive, and he did send Heavenly Kami, so they're really quite efficient. But yeah, following up with Basterios on the Portuguese consulate, not even switching to Japan, just getting as many military units as he can out and looking to apply pressure. I think he wanted to get a bit more work done than that, though, because, really the overall goal is to stop Dutch gathering, which I guess he did. But Dutch he did get up to Fortress Age, and he didn't have to send 8 pikes or anything like that. So I think, yes, Dutch had to train maybe a few extra units that he wasn't really anticipating, but ultimately, he's up to Fortress. He didn't really pay for it. I think he's in a good spot, and now Optimus is just, he's spent a lot of, energy on these units, so to speak, and it's not perhaps the greatest for him. But we'll follow up to, he's not going to, that ship has sailed, so to speak, and he realizes that. He's not going to flog a dead horse, and will, behind this, go up to the Fortress Age himself.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't lose a ton of units, but neither did King of Osmane. It allowed his shrines to kind of go uncontested, right? So he was able to get more value from his shrines for longer. He got into Age 3, or at least 61% into Age 3. And now his units will upscale. Like, he can, 8 Nagys aren't useless. I mean, they're not that good against Dutch because they're primarily going to go Reuter Skirm and then maybe mix some cannons in. But, we'll see how this plays out. The 4th bank is coming down for Dutch. I think he's going double stable.
That's a good point. Yeah, so double stable, we're going to pump lots of Reuters. Fair enough. He saw, quite a few Naginata. Perhaps that's a reasonable reaction. He can add, generally Dutch will want to get 2 barracks, 2 stable at some point anyway. But you pointed out the 4th bank, and that's something I didn't pick up on. So Dutch actually only had 3 banks that entire time. So actually Japan did achieve something. He stopped Japan from getting up to 5 banks. In fact, he's still not on 5 banks. As you said, he's just popped down the 4th one. So he did achieve, delaying the Dutch eco, and he's going to have to get those banks now, or sort of not at all, which does give Japan, who's just aged up to the Fortress Age, a bit of freedom to, get his units out, get them teched, and he's going to have a larger mass as a result of Dutch having to slow down and finish off those banks. So the colonial pressure did sort of achieve what he was going for, even if it didn't look too impressive to us. But I think from here, we're going to see the game really, start, so to speak. They've now gotten to the positions they want to be in, which is the Fortress Age, and they've set up early ecos, double 4 vills, and obviously all the shrines from Japan. And Dutch very similarly has now gotten those banks and is in a position where he wants to be. So let's see how this goes. Yabusame coming out preemptively.
That's just odd. Oh, he's going to get a couple of vills down here, it looks like, or at least force them to go back to the town center, but he's definitely going to have to retreat there. You got 5 Hussar, are they tech? You have 5 veteran Hussar, as well as backing Reuters there. The Skirm's very out of position, but they're, pushing on units that are neutral or positive for them.
Yeah.
I think they're just going to kind of dance around each other, and then they're going to just smash everything into each other at the end.
Yep, currently just massing. As you said, he got the veteran tech in his base. He's got his 2 stables, and we'll see if he adds in that extra one. But yeah, both players just sort of waiting for the right moment. There are cards they'll want to send. We just want to reach that critical mass where those cards are valuable. We'll start seeing them come in. But King of Osmane does lose his 3 pikes here. Optimus Prime getting fed up with his shrines being sieged and sends off a batch of cavalry to handle them. There was only 3 pikes. They are now handled. I'm liking Optimus Prime's position. He's got quite a lot of eco because,
But he's housed. He's housed right now. He's 2 pop away from being housed, and that's really big right now.
Pardon me, I must have got the name wrong. I mean, I'm pleased with Optimus Prime. He's got nearly all the shrine pop, is how I mean. He seems like in a good spot. Like, if we're going to play the waiting game, it's I think it's in Japan's favor. But King of Osmane sitting here. He sent all these crates. He's trying to mass, just hasn't got the houses for it.
Mm-hmm. He's going to the Dutch. Optimus Prime going to the Dutch consulate, going full eco behind this.
Was that Dutch have a 5 Hussar shipment now? Although it still says 4 Hussars and delivers 5, but
Yeah.
But yeah, that is a buff to Dutch, because they always had trouble getting decent amount of cavalry out, but 5 Huss really does sort of help with that. King of Osmane trying to take the initiative. He's got a big army now and is out on the map starting to siege those shrines down. And I don't know if we'll see infantry combat from him. He's not really... I mean, it's a really good card, as we say every single time someone sends it, but he's not got that many skirmishes. He's gone heavier on cavalry, certainly Reuters, and quite a lot of Hussars there now, which Japan will have seen, because obviously the cavalry was sieging those shrines, so he knows what to expect. The Yabusame that we see are now starting to make more sense. But yeah, cavalry combat coming in from Dutch, which is a card any civ can send.
Yeah.
When you have that such a juicy skirmisher improvement. But yeah, no, cavalry combat's still very, very strong, and it makes sense to see it here. He's got a lot of cavalry now coming in.
This is a good window to push, too, because he just sent his 2 Cherry Orchard card. This is the time when he's not sending a military shipment, so you're technically ahead on military shipments, right? He has to send that card no matter what to keep this thing going. You know, if he gets another card in, like maybe a boost to his Yumi, I mean, infantry breastplate is being, or the archer hand and infantry hit points increase, just finished researching, get him even more. And he's switching his...
Oh, he got Dutch cons. Huh.
Yeah, he made a Dutch consulate. I was completely blanked out, but yeah, that helps his Yumi.
Yeah. He got infantry breastplate, you know, plus 10% hit points there. Now taking cavalry cuirass. Yeah. Wow, I guess this really is a slow game. We're gonna get those out, and he's got the golden pavilion as well for later on for taking, you know, flintlock and paper cartridges for the muskets.
Yeah,
but
it's gonna be very interesting. I mean, could we see H4?
Did he get the bank as well? No, he surely didn't have the export for that. No, there's no bank on the field. I guess the easier way to find out is to click economic units. There's 4 banks, but that's for the Dutch player. He never got his 5th bank. That's a big deal.
Yeah, absolutely. If he had 5 banks cranking out this whole time, he would have been soaring.
He'd have, at least like, that's got to be like nearly, I don't know how many. I was going to say 1,000, but that could well be wrong. Who knows? Certainly more resources. And that's all down to, of course, I think the colonial pressure we saw. You know, I think you usually expect Dutch to get 5 banks here, but not able to squeeze them out. Feels like he had to had to start massing sooner rather than later. Here comes infantry combat. Now has cavalry combat in as well. Of course, though, Dutch does have, as you pointed out, infantry breastplate and cavalry cuirass. So, you know, this is I would say fairly even in terms of technologies here. Let's see how this fight pans out. All the Hussars are now into position, and Hussars actually trade quite well against the Nagi. They're just sort of better, Nagi more specialized, but there's quite a few Yabusame there, just firing off volleys in. So, pretty decent counter.
Yeah, the thing is, he was floating a shipment for so long, right? And I don't know why he just had that sitting in bank for what seemed like at least 3/4 of that fight. And we don't know what he's sending now, or is it community text being researched? No, but he's like behind so many shipments and there's no reason for it, right? Like he just didn't send that one shipment and now he's behind a little bit. He's not dead, but he's behind.
Yeah, so you're saying if that had arrived sooner, maybe the fight would have, he'd have had a better trade, or the fight would have looked less promising for Dutch. It will come, but overall, yeah, we're looking at 46 skirmishes, now 8 more just arriving, versus 31 Yumi here. So King of Osmane is the player that can more easily push the issue here. The skirms are better at kiting, and they have more range as well. So it's just easier for King of Osmane to poke, which is what he's doing. And behind this, using the Reuters to siege down the shrines. Now, they are relatively low siege, but this is just a nice position for Osmane. He's got the Japanese player sort of cooped up in the corner here, not really going anywhere, whilst he's able to sort of destroy shrines and stuff like that. It is worth, though, pointing out that the Japanese economy is quite far ahead. Now, Way of the Bow coming in as well. Is this where we're looking to push out?
I was trying to say before, like, if he would have sent Way of the Bow before that fight, right, he does not have to move his Yumi mass up nearly as far. He doesn't have to get as easily, for a good portion of that fight, he's just walking his Yumis back because the Hussar just, you know, really hurting him.
Yeah, God, look at these Yumis moving around, and the Hussar's tanking a lot of damage there. I think Dutch getting the upper hand in this fight. He's got quite a lot of skirmishes. looking now to get back. I mean, Way at the Bow is pretty good. Well, let's take a look at the units. Shall we take a look at their sort of the veteran skirmishers with the card have 162 HP and 20 damage. The Yumi have 145 HP, so a bit less, but considerably more damage. So I think in terms of like a straight up skirm war, the Yumi are just better. They're just sort of more efficient damage dealers. Maybe that's offset by the hit points, but yeah, in a drawn out fight, I think the Yumi win, but certainly Dutch is doing what you can do with skirms, which is maintain that range advantage, and that's where the Yumis are not going to perform so well. So really, the action of this game just locked down in this corner of the map, and I'd say still Dutch doing what he wants, which is keeping Japan cornered here, destroying shrines.
Yeah, that Way of the Bow shipment earlier really could have changed the game, but he's not in an absolutely terrible position right now. Still 180 Shrine Pop, no, 170 Shrine Pop, pardon me. He's gathering resources. His eco is relatively unhindered. He recalculated. He's actually ahead in eco. So he just has to be patient. 2 flaming arrows coming out is really going to be good for cleaning up the skirms. But does he have the means to protect this relatively beefy reinforcing Hussar mass?
Big batch of Hussars! This is it. Here we go.
Yeah.
And Dutch wants to... Thing is, there are 2 flaming arrows on the board as well, but there's off to the side there. He just needs to... Yeah, the Reuters coming in, going to focus them down. That's not ideal for Japan, but lots of Huss now on top of those Yumi, really doing what they do well. But there's not actually that many skirmishers in the back, although I think the Reuter mass does make up somewhat for that, just firing off volleys into the mix here. I think actually it looks like... I'm not sure. A big batch of Nagis coming out, but they're not carded, so they don't have that insane 30% additional hit points. I'm saying it's quite even. I think here we'll see Green sort of try to back off once these Nagis are dealt with.
Yeah, it's close. I mean, I would give the slight edge to KINGofOsmane there, just because now what's he going to do against these reinforcing Hussar, really? I mean, he's got 3, maybe 4, you have a saying?
Yeah, I think...
And Optimus is getting ready to go industrial as well, so he can just back off, and it sure seems that he's posturing for it. I mean, he could spend the resources, but did he ever put his 5th bank down?
Good question. I don't think he did. Economic units.
No.
Yeah, 4 banks, so KINGofOsmane this whole time been playing with that there. I think, Osmane... pardon me. I think Optimus Prime, he lost that 2 flaming arrow shipment, but overall, it's been okay, because he's, as you can see, he's sort of near that age point, although he's just spent down a lot of the coin. So I think he's decided to commit to age 2. We see he's spent all the coin down, and we see Naginata hit points coming in. Maybe he thinks he can't get away with aging. I think off the back of losing the 2 flaming arrows, he just doesn't have the military presence to keep himself safe. He really wants to age, but has decided it's not ideal.
Yeah, and also I just think he's just, he's hurting for coin. He can't get it. Like, where is he going to gather coin that's safe? There's not a single coin. I mean, there's up there, sure, and he's gathering there now, but he can't invest the necessary, villager capital to go effectively mine coin. I think he's going to do it now, but if this gets scouted, that could be very interesting.
Yeah, the action on the map moving around now, so maybe he is able to get to those coin mines that you were pointing out. Thankfully, though, as well, he is Japan and can set his mini factories to coin, so I think he is able to get it, but you are absolutely right to point out that, well, his food count's really, really high, and his coin count perhaps not so. Which is, his macro is clearly off there. I wonder if that's just because he was trying to age, or if it's actually due to a coin deficit. But either way, the action is moving around. The Dutch players sort of cleaned out all the shrines in that location, but as a result of moving away, has sort of opened up the coin mines. So I think he's sort of looking for more shrines to siege. But yeah, here he comes.
I mean, this is it. He's completely out of position, and there's no tomorrow for this.
Yeah, he needs to get his units over there pronto. The Nagi's starting to move, but yeah, a lot of Vils. He did tech Spirit Medicine, Eastern Medicine, so they are fairly tanky. Can we get some Harrison Greatcoat? No, I Am Soldier Greatcoats in the chat, but there's the Nagi on top of that. That's what he needs now. They're like, nope, I don't care about those Vils. They're going to leave the Vils alone now, my friend. Go straight towards the skirms, but I think the presence of the Reuters were enough to scare away the Nagi there. And overall, just losing a few villages. But look at these green ones. What are they doing here? There's no food on the map.
They were gathering resources, but now they're going to get damaged. This is going to be interesting. I mean, the military populations are about even. The recalculated economic population's about even. He's going to lose a good amount of vills here. So if he just doesn't play too greedy and just kind of, you know, holds this part of the map, because now Dutch is completely out of food. Where's he? He can't gather any food. He's got all coin.
Yeah. I wonder what he does here then. He's just gathering
Mills.
coin, which makes me think he's got advanced church on the way or something. Because yeah, you're right. He's not gathering food, although he can clear out these shrines, and there is a bit of food left. There's certainly some in his base here.
Here we go. Here's a mill coming down up here.
All right, so moving into that portion of the game.
Yep. And now we got a big raid down here, but it's going to be cleaned up. But his entire army is now down here, so you can kind of, you know, at least have an idea of where your opponent is and position accordingly. He's not really adjusting his position, though. I'd kind of want to put my army more here so I can intercept before giving my villagers on this coin mine some time to retreat in the event they shift backwards. But being really annoying with these Nagy, and we shall see how this plays out.
This is really interesting because the eco pops are actually very similar, and we're in like a position where both players, I think, can make that transition to mills and plantations. I don't know if Japan's already got one down. There's a couple of cherry orchards here that are fully jacked. They've got all of the food in them there. So I think actually I'm going to bet on Japan here simply because switching is not something he really needs to think about. Up in the top here, some Nagi on top of the villages.
Well, he does have to switch because he's about to run out of coin. He's going to have no coin mines again. So if he has any aspirations of making, you know, not Yumi, he has to transition somewhat to plantations, at least to gather coin. But I think this is the fight because the Yumis got you know, caught a little bit by the Hussar, but now they're positioned in the back with nice body blocking potential. Yabasame hiding back a little bit. It's all about how these Hussar perform, and it doesn't look like they're performing very well. 2 Hussar reinforcing in the back. It looks like Japan's going to win this fight heavily.
Yeah, let's take a look at the upgrades. He's got Naginata hit points in there as well. And we mentioned Cavalry Cuirass earlier. Way of the Bow and Infantry Breastplate still here. Dutch, though. I think we underestimated the Reutermass there.
Yeah, I was completely wrong. But yeah, that was just a slobber knocker. Those only 189 HP, but they're just so cheap to make. I don't know. The reinforcing patches is really the difference. Oh, he's got 5 Nagy just sitting there. Oh, he's got a lot of things just sitting there in the back. There we go, kind of repopulating. But what are these Nagy going to do against this just heavy Reutermass, especially with all of his bills exposed up here?
Nagi do find themselves on top of... There's not very many, though.
I don't want to prematurely call it again.
I know how you feel, Mando. It's
the last time that went poorly. I mean, it just looked so, you know, Yumi are just so effective when they counter something. But 9 Yumi archers coming out of the town center. But this should be the decisive blow, especially with
ouch.
You know, the Hussar just spanking them. And that's it.
Is it there? Gryphon AoE subscribing just as the GG comes out. King of Osmane picking up another victory. I think he'll be pleased with that after the result of the previous game that he didn't get to finish there. But, you know, doing quite well, especially against, you know, he's not playing... He's against Japan. I suppose he sort of knows what they're capable of. But that was an interesting game. It went a lot longer than... perhaps I thought it would, and I was very interested to see the Dutch consulate there.
And doing it with 4 banks, remember? He did not build that 5th bank.
No, he never got around to it.
And I think the decisive factor here was the forward mill. Everyone knows that the forward mill is meta. You just build your mills as close to the opponent as possible so you get food to your army faster, right?
take a look at the post game. Very even. Look at that. Look at the eco. That's so even.
Yeah, that's, it was a very interesting game, very interesting matchup. And, when you play the Civ against the Civ that you consider like your main Civ, you kind of know all the ins and outs, when they're weak, when they're strong, what moment. Like, I don't think it was a coincidence that he pushed at a certain time when the orchards were sent, because I think he knew that's when the orchards are being sent, right? Like, when China is probably the Civ, I know all the insides and outs. I know they have a really weak window at that like 6 to 7 minute mark. They have that really long window of like that 4 to 5 minutes where they kind of roll shipments, and then after that they kind of peter out. But very interesting game.
Game number 4 coming up in this play all. Score is 2-1.
We're both a little early. I'll leave. You're good. Let me know when he joins.
I'll let you know. Yeah, interesting that there were no Ashy there in that game.
Yeah, I mean, Japan without Ashy is assume they get obliterated by the skirms, but, it was a very interesting game. I think it really just came down to, especially that first fight where Japan took very heavy losses when he didn't need to, when he could have just sent that card, and it would have mitigated a good amount of the losses. And that he was winning fights, but he could never really overcome that big mass again. You know what I mean? Especially when the coin mines ran out and his shrines were being sieged and things of that nature.
Yeah, the turning point for me was where the 2 flaming arrows didn't really get as much work done as perhaps they could have done.
Agreed. That's probably a more decisive, like losing a fight is losing a fight, but losing couldn't you have sent that twice?
Yeah, you can send it twice.
Yeah, in retrospect, it probably would have been good to send it again, but it's easy. Oh, pardon me. Oof. It's it's easy when you're sitting here and you have all the resources in front of you and all the line of sight, and all you have to do is watch and observe that you can make these easy calls, right?
Oh, you joined literally just as Osmane did. Well done. I didn't even tell you to join. You just did it like perfectly.
I'm a professional.
Yeah. You're just like, I know it's time to join, and there he is.
The time is now.
All right, so it will be King of Osmane, I believe, to lock. Let's check. Also, B-Winner versus Minimalt is happening right now on ESOC TV 2. If people want to open that up, have both browsers open, or indeed whichever one you prefer. Does that mean we're not casting that anymore, or was there a different series? Let's have a look. Yeah, I think that's been not cancelled. It's clearly happening right now, but I don't think you and I will be casting it, which was the plan. But this one's gone on considerably longer than we thought it might, which is fair enough. It will be the case, though, that I was about to say who's up next. It goes CMC, MDS, CMC, reset. So I don't know.
All right. Seems like have they locked in? I'm not sure. Daca's a fun map. Or is it Dakar?
Good question. Good question. Either way, a relatively new map that is kind of reminiscent of Indochina in the sense that there's an ocean with limited passages across to your opponents. There are, I suppose, 3 passages. The one on the bottom, which I think is the most relevant since it's obviously closest. But you've got the central passage, which I think is the hardest to wall or something like that. And then there's the top of the map as well. So I have seen a few games on this, particularly on streams. But yeah, really interesting new map. Looking forward to a game played here.
Yeah, I really like when people drop those caravels shipment in that center pond there. It's very, very interesting because you can control both chokes with both boats, and you have both line of sight, and you can use them as it's really great for H2 play. Options to take water. There's a lot of different things you can do on this map, and it's a very fun map to play.
Sec deck, he says. It rhymes. King of Osmane landed on Spain. I suppose this is a 4 trading post map. Certainly something you can do.
It definitely is. I mean, it's a good map for ports. It's a good map. You know, ports does well when you need to control very specific segments of map. You know what I mean? And since they get that town center so early, you can just kind of plop it in a very central location, or at least you can even just play it eco-y, you know, take the coast, whatever you want to do. There's a lot of options for ports here.
Are you ready?
These are the options for Spain as well. All right, everyone's greening up, and I'll leave you to your introductions.
It appears that this game may be starting, yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to game number 4 in this best of Play All 5, series between Optimus Prime and indeed King of Osmane. The score is 2-2. No, 2-1. Yes.
Correct. Just feels like we've done 4.
Yeah, it feels like more than we have. This has been going on a while, which is, you know, it's a good series. But
it's great content. It's great content.
Indeed. We have Spanish versus Portuguese on Dakar. And both interesting choices. Obviously, lots of trading posts. So either Civ has that ATP option. The trouble is, though, you don't really want to send ATP if your opponent does. Because then you're just it's just not ideal then. There's too much competition for the route. So I wonder if we'll see a situation where Portuguese, here he is, on the right-hand side of the map in the colour blue, picking up 30 XP right away, and there's a 40 wood treasure there that he also crack-shotted right away. I wonder if that's going to be the world record for picking up 2 treasures in quick succession. But
it's gotta be.
Getting them off to a nice start there, and now the Explorer heading sort of into the map does find himself 45 food, so quite a few small treasures in a row, and indeed on the top of the map there are cows which you can sort of head towards there. But Portuguese, as I was saying, I wonder if we'll see a situation where they go on the water. Obviously Portuguese, as we know, very strong naval civ for a number of reasons, and the starting TC actually spawning very close to the water, so it has some sort of anti-ship properties there, can be really useful for that. We'll take a look at Optimus's deck once he picks it, but I don't think we'll have done that just yet, and we'll see how naval it exactly is. On the other hand, Spanish, on the left-hand side of the map in the colour green, here we have King of Osmane. Both players have elected to put down an early market and get hunting dogs ASAP, it would seem. But
yeah,
I'm looking to see...
Go ahead.
I wonder if we'll see a situation where Port goes naval and Spain goes ATP.
You know, it's a very viable situation. We can't, downplay the Yaks either. As you saw during that French matchup, it proved to be very, very, decisive against Spain. I really am not sure what to make of this matchup. There's just way too many options for Port. There's a decent amount of options for Spain, but I think Spain wants to obviously take the TP line. But Port oftentimes wants to take the TP line as well, and I think we'll know more once that first card is sent. No real the King of Osmane just sending 3 builds, which is a pretty standard early shipment for Spain.
Yeah, pretty normal opening indeed. He's taken a lot of damage on his Explorer, though. I'm not sure. What did he take for all that damage? King of Osmane took 65 coin. There's nothing huge there. It's a lot of damage to have taken for small treasures, but I suppose you do have a lot of tigers and things like that, which are, quite difficult treasure guardians to kill. Now going for the Empress, or Empress Zoe's cookbook, which apparently is going to increase its population by 5. So essentially 50 wood, because that's half a house in value, but it does allow you to go above the 200 pop. We'll see how relevant that actually ends up being. But Yes, it looks like Portuguese now about to click up to the next age. He's got that 800 food. Let's take a look at his deck now. It definitely has naval potential. And I think the one thing to take away is very Fortress Age orientated.
Schooners.
Yeah, Schooners coming in.
yeah.
Okay, and that makes sense as a first card, especially on this map. So no ATP in this deck. Going to take the water. That's absolutely making a lot of sense. And I expect we'll see him rush up to the Fortress Age ASAP using that 700 coin. Really does not have the tools to stay colonial at all. So that is what we're going to expect from him. Spanish, on the other hand, can send a second shipment, which I think is what he's done since he doesn't have a shipment stacked, and Spain would certainly have one by now. So we'll take a look at his deck, and I'm almost certain that ATP is sort of on the way there. It must be, because he's not stacked up a shipment just yet. But has now just gotten, there it is, his villagers onto wood, given that we see he's just clicked up, and now going to gather resources, of course, to slam down these trading posts. A couple of war dogs, I thought they might be villagers heading towards the trading route, although there is one here just coming up, and she's going to get this party started.
Yeah, she's going very forward. She's going to, I believe, this trade post too. So she's going to the one that's on his side of the map to deny him. Ooh, where is she going? Oh, there we go. She was wandering around, it seemed. Does he have the wood? Oh no, he's not going for it. So she's going to be able to, lay down that foundation very easily and do it relatively uncontested. Portuguese is just going to be real interested in naval booming. The wall is coming up, and I believe we're in for another boomy game.
Yeah, absolutely. Who can boom better, though? I like Port's position because they have a foothold on the route, which is just awkward. If you want an ATP, you can't grab the whole route here, and it's always going to take a few minutes before you can get some units out to destroy it. And also, you have to invest resources into, a few pikes or units or whatever it is to go and destroy it, and it's so far away. It's on the other side of the map. So, going to be a thorn, I suppose, in Spain's side. But you are right to point out that it's a boomy game. He's clearly gone for the wall here.
One thing I would have liked to have seen, it's a bit of a nitpick, the town center here, just so he gets more anti-ship potential if, it does have to contest. Because now he's only, that town center is defending, like a quarter of the sea, when if you were to put it here, you're defending almost half of the sea with that town center line, and it's pressure off your dog.
Yeah, putting it on that sort of peninsula almost does sort of increase its area or range. It's a bit further out, you are right. But yeah, lots of fishing boats now coming out. 2 docks, 700 wood has just come in, which you can fill that with. And I wonder if we'll see a third dock or something. I mean, there is sufficient fish for it. This is not a small water map. Certainly there are larger. But yeah, there is 700 coins from Spain as well. So he's not going to be able to do anything about this trading post for the time being, other than throw a few torches at it with his explorer. But now
rendering plant early.
Rendering plant coming out, yeah. Well, it's 20% is a lot, and he's got and there's a third dock as well. So clearly committing hard to water. So I suppose the dynamic of this game then will be ports with their 2 TCs, 3 docks, which spam boats very quickly due to schooners, and they're also a bit cheaper. And obviously that third eco card, they're coming out, rendering plant. It's just going to be getting his eco up to these insane levels where he'll just be sort of unstoppable. And KINGofOsmane, he's positioned himself as, and I suppose that's all you can really do in this matchup, as the player that sort of has to stop that from happening. And to do that, he wants to get up to the next stage ASAP. So sending 700 coin, and he's gotten clearly the upgrade in queue. Probably going up with the Scout, the Admiral of the Ocean Sea. Okay, that makes a lot more sense. 400 wood on the floor is going to be really useful in a build like this, because he's going to need that bit of extra wood for housing, and indeed the Caravel to challenge this naval Portuguese navy there. But yeah, 700 wood as a follow-up for infrastructure, and indeed 5 villages, because he needs an economy of his own. Let's take a look at his deck. Has the frigate and improved warships.
The score? Sorry to interrupt. Did you update the score?
The score is 2-1, right?
Okay, just admin's asking. Yeah, it was 2-1.
Yeah, 2 to KINGofOsmane, 1 to Optimus Prime. This is game 4, so that makes sense.
Just making sure.
Cool.
But he's got to really, create something to defend this soon. He's got to know that he's not, going to go on the ocean uncontested the entire game. He's also sitting right on top of the home city flag for Spain, and when he does age up, he will just be rammed by a caravel, I believe.
Yeah, how much work can one caravel really get done though? I mean, there's a lot of docks, and as you pointed out, the TC, although not in that place you mentioned, is certainly on the coast and has a lot of anti-ship attack there. Looks like Optimus is moving all these boats up. This is nice because, I mean, well, he's depleted a lot of the fish nearby, but whilst you have the opportunity to do so, it makes a lot of sense to gather, further away from your docks where your boats are sort of less protected, and then when there is a threat, you can come back home and you've, conserved your fish stocks nearby your docks where it's more defendable, so makes sense to do that. But yes, one caravel now out from his age up, and is using that to harass the boats. But obviously he's not going to be able to get too close to those docks there, but certainly is scaring the boats away with it.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to, cause a little bit of idle time, but he's aging up, so it's not really that bad. He's also was only going to make out of one dock anyway because he's researching gill nets. He's going to lose some boats here, but the boats are so cheap that it's really not even a big deal. Spanish gold coming.
Spanish gold?
The shipment. Spanish gold.
Yeah. And that sort of... Okay, so just going to play this even more eco-focused. He did eventually manage to... Oh, okay, some barracks is up here. A second one going down. Did manage to get that trading post in. It's got all 4.
Ooh,
let's click recalc.
Little Rob raid over here.
How did they get there? Oh, they went around the back.
They took a long way home. But he's going to, I think, did he go with the age up fast? No. He's also going with Admiral of the Ocean Seas. So that's, not something, not negligible. Because, he's going to be very slow to age 3. He's going to be behind. He's going to have eco, but it's not going to be uncontested. He also sent 2 caravels. Yeah, he sent 2 caravels. But the Falconet sniped down one of those caravels just now.
Flare?
Where? Here.
Okay. Oh, they did. Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
So I said earlier this game was going to be Spain positioning themselves as the one that needs to stop the port eco, but I think he's taking a different approach. He's saying, actually, no, you do you, Portuguese. I'm just going to go up to the Fortress Age, get the whole trading post route, which is not negligible, and send Spanish gold with 5 villages behind it, and have a really powerful eco myself.
Yeah. I mean, he's going to deny most of the map. He's never going to have to worry about getting raided or anything. He's going to be very turtle. So, and the frigate's now coming, so he's going to try and take this. But now he knows the frigate's there. It would have been nice if someone took natives to try and get those canoes. But, 2 caravels. TC fire, it's going to be close. He's got his half of the map, at least. He just can't get onto that second half. He's got a good amount of whales that he can defend, though. He's got 4 whales, roughly, that he can just farm off of. But here comes the Falconets to just rain down terror. He's invested so much into the offshore that he's not really going to have much land support here.
I like... Well, he had his caravel, which appears to be gone. The frigate is going to be able to supply some damage to these fish, keep them belled up away from the fish stocks. But with the 2 barracks and the strong eco that we were pointing out, has managed to mass up a reasonable number of skirms, and there will be more on the way from the 2 barracks there. Has used... Oh no, there's no rod LRO shipment. So he's actually massing rods and skirms, but has the 2 falcons here. He's got a decent skirm mass, so any Portuguese dragoons, which is something they like to do, are not going to be as super effective. I like to see taking down that explorer there.
Optimus is housed too, and he was going to try to go to age 3, but it's not going to. I don't think that's possible. I don't know. You going to get those Minutemen out or no? Yeah, because he's popped.
Refrigeration coming in, so despite all this pressure, it's not going to overreact. He feels like he's just going to keep his cool, stick to the plan. Did lose a TC, but it was the starting one that was a bit further away from the coast and harder to defend. Obviously, as ports, you have a lot of TCs, so perhaps not a super big deal, especially when you've got all those docks pumping out units. But Spain is now coming in. He's got that really strong eco set up, and now has decided that he is now going to start putting the pressure on with that eco behind him. Frigate versus frigate.
And the Caravel mixed in as well, but you also have the dock doing some fire too, and the TC able to land shots from wild distance away. Did not think it was going to be able to... Oh, it's landing it on the Caravel, though. So he owns the sea. He just needs to, you know, keep the pressure off him long enough. But these two Falconets are going relatively uncontested, but here comes a decent pop of about 8 Hussar. I'm not sure what to really think of this, because the rods are just going to liquefy them. He needs to, you know, he's built on the coast, so all he needs to do is bring his ships back as he's doing, and as the fight goes closer to the coast, just use his ships as offshore support, and I think that's his plan.
Yeah,
so
and there's 8 Cassadors. Okay, so that's the plan for the rods at least, but really needs to be careful that those Cassador don't take a big volley to the face. But as long as they can start picking off those rods, at some point he'll be able to send those Huss in onto the skirms, and indeed the Falconets as well. As you mentioned,
just get out of range.
They are nice.
Oh, nope.
Does get a good volley. But yeah, boats, as you mentioned, coming in to be used sort of on the coast. He's sort of hugging the shoreline to stick close to his boats. Yeah,
and that's really the smart play here. I mean, he's going to lose a stable, but not really a big deal. He's got plenty of wood. He's got a nice little area here where he can gather, rebuild. He's going to rebuild the town center, too.
Colonial Militia coming in for Optimus Prime. Sadly has already lost one of the TCs. He's trying to rebuild it there. And the Huss now coming back in there, trying to draw those rods back towards the boats.
And he's going to get some.
And he's making a break for the cannons, but King of Osmane is... Oh, no, that's not what you want! Rip.
You know, he's not in a great position, but he's not in the worst position. He is popped. He needs to rebuild some of that. He's also got 600 wood just sitting there, not being used. Okay, and here's his push. It looks like Minutemen are going to act as the anti-rod here. And the Cull, I did not see that get made. Going for the Falc. And now the Falc is down. And I believe Optimus Prime is going to be in a very comfortable position here now.
Yep. Managed to hold with the Minutemen and the Culverin. The Minutemen, of course, from the Colonial Militia there. And has shut down that Spanish push. And has the superior eco behind this. And as we saw earlier, managed to capture fully the water. So those boats are doing quite well. But interestingly enough, 2 town centers just plonked next to him.
Yeah, like, that's just absolutely wild. I mean, he's denying the map, which is really what he needs to do because he's going to take advantage of that eco. But yeah, he owns the entire sea, completely uncontested, double-carded. I'm assuming he's gotten fish lines as well, or just gill nuts. Yeah, he's got fish lines or whatever it is. So he's got all the cards you can get, really, for fish. And he's going to have a nice, steady source of coin. But I don't know. We're going to see how this goes. He's got 4 TPs, map control, all the hunts, all the mines.
Yeah, there's a question now of whether Optimus Prime can push out here. But he is...
And those are all 1 HP Minutemen, 1 volley, and they're just all going to go down. Yep,
Rod's now on top of the units here.
Second set of Colonial Militia. Going to cause them to go back.
Thousand wood. Ah, I see. You must have disconnected again. Okay. Lots of rods. Just massing tons and tons of rods here. So, you know, Cassadors, that organ gun looking really, really effective, is finally going to get that trading post, pardon me, second, or that additional TC down, and can call even more Minutemen from it, which are actually really, really strong. Basically, you know, 200 HP musketeers, although they do obviously degenerate, as we know. Are you back?
Yep, I'm back.
Welcome back. I don't know if Spain can really finish the game here. His eco is sort of catching up, and he has got 3 TCs to pump villages from, but I don't know, maybe he can. And refrigeration coming in, although that's for Optimus Prime. I think the saving grace is that Blue, the Portuguese player here, has no natural resources, although these berries are actually a really, really big deal for him, because it means he can delay that switch to mills. He has got 1 mill, but and also the berries gather actually quite a bit faster than mills.
You know what would be kind of smart? If he would just take 5 Hussar, right? Put them in one of the boats, drop them off here, and then just go to town on a little raid.
Yeah. Like, he looks like he wants to build walls, but you're going to expect the Hussars from the bottom.
Yeah, I mean, it would at least buy him time. It would get him off, because he can't, and there's the click up to age 4. You can't really go raid here. He's going to see it. He's got so much line of sight in this area. He's probably got the whole map lit up. So going through that, that avenue of just carting them over would be a great idea. Or just, I mean, I think we forget there's one wall separating the most direct path.
Yeah, and it makes me wonder if that wall is actually complete as well. But that's true. These EP walls are not particularly healthy, so to speak. Spain approaching 200 pop, now at 167. And I imagine we'll see him get ready to sort of go in there any second now. Has Caballeros on the Lancers there, so they're going to be
Minutemen raid over
there. It
here.
is. It looks like he's now ready to go in. So has just popped 4 culverins there, a batch of culverins, and that's going to be what he needs to handle these organ guns. And certainly Portuguese now going to the Fortress Age, and we know Portuguese from the previous games have really good artillery, although none in deck. But wow, that's a lot of organs going down, and the Lancers coming in that are teched specifically to deal with the Cazadors here. Although they are doing a good job of getting away, retreating to the boats, and it looks like they might even garrison in there.
In the calves. The boats are going to do some damage here, but they're going to get liquefied by these 5 calves. Good objection, are you there?
Yeah.
Okay, just making sure. Yeah, I mean, there goes the frigate. Down with the ship. I think, I'm not really sure. It should go in Spain's favor.
Pick the right moment to go in.
It definitely was. It looks like Spain is going to just kind of siege everything down with these rods here. He's got him heavily contained. He's age 4, but I don't see any real big pop being able to bail him out of this. He's got another frigate, so that's going to, he got rid of one. One culve is 1 hit. Okay. So both the culves are down. So he's going to be able to do a good amount of damage to this infantry with just the frigate. But he's losing a lot of vills in the process, and he's going to siege down a lot of things. I mean, he's going to be able to probably get that TC uncontested. He's going to be able to get a lot of the housing. I'm not really seeing the win condition here for Optimus Prime, but I'd sure like to see it happen.
Yeah, interesting choice of cards as well. Sent heavy fortifications, but not really any outposts to speak of for them to upgrade. Certainly a really powerful card, but nothing there. Nothing there to upgrade. And he's just running around really nicely with lots of rods. He's got his skirmishers there. He's doing a lot of damage. There's not really any villagers gathering. They're all sort of belled up. It's 11 in that TC. I guess now the last of the fish sort of gone. Going to be moving on to Wales pretty soon, and these are going to have to be sort of deleted. There's not that, enough space for all those fishing boats. Does manage to get 3 organ guns out, though, and that will put a stop to these rods, to these skirmishes they're going to have to get back. And, of course, continuing to train batches of Minutemen. Just so many Minutemen just being called with the 4 TCs there.
Yeah, ooh, that was not necessary. He could have kited a little longer, but See if those organs can get off enough of a volley on those. Yep, he's getting a good amount off.
You're going to have to
get
get
pushing
back. Doesn't want to be fighting organ guns without
I don't know.
cavalry of some kind. But yeah, Portuguese looking okay. He's got his factory down. And his second one will be coming soon. There's no sort of saving grace unit shipment in here, though. He's not got like 2 heavy cannons. Has just been, I suppose that explains the heavy fortifications there. There's just not much else he could have sent. There's no unit shipment that is immediately helpful. Would like to see some outposts now that has been sent, since they are actually quite powerful. Oh my goodness, he killed all of the organ guns just as I thought Optimus Prime was sort of stabilizing. It looks like KINGofOsmane gets a really, really nice batch of culbs out and is able to sort of finish them up. So many Portuguese villages are belled up, and we're going to see the fishing boats, as I mentioned earlier, going to run out soon as well. But starting to add in some outposts.
Big raid. Oh, he's just gonna. I think he's just trying to buy time here, and that's really all he can hope for.
Yeah,
right?
and it's working.
That
He's pulling the rods away, so they're not going. They're gonna have to chase those hussars. They're not sort of in the fight. He's able to keep getting these outposts up, which is buying time for that. So really, really nice there. What I really like about this game is how KINGofOsmane just places these 2 town centers like really, really far on the front. Buys himself a lot of map control with that, which protects the trader out behind, and really like it's looking like the map is just he's everywhere. He's got these 2 trading posts for the XP. He's got the vegetarianism upgrade, I expect, as well. And he's got really, really fast gathering villages. Also, refrigeration enables. She's not got vegetarianism, it appears, but certainly refrigeration also lets you gather berries quicker. So on a map like this, that's actually really interesting. He's now down in the bottom here. Villagers are going to have to get into that TC, but it's just the 1 outpost. He's not got a lot of siege, so that's the one thing he's lacking against these outposts. Yeah, and there's a mortaring queue now.
Yeah, I mean, he's building a saloon. I mean, it's just a lot of silliness right now, especially now with the culves on the coast. You try to get in there and
Industrial Revolution. Okay, so second factory coming down. I imagine it's sort of on the other side here, and we'll be safe. Yeah, both factories now fully built. Yeah.
Does he revolution? He has the. I know it's a very low tier.
Does he revolt? Maybe it would work. I feel like it's just safer to play this. I think he's in a really good spot actually. He just needs a bit of siege, and that will be there. It is 5 mortars. Wow, that's how often do you see those in 1v1? Oh wow, 5 mortars, and that's what you need to counter these fortified outposts, which are sort of really, really good. Lancers on top of the vills there. He's just been pressuring this whole time in all the right spots. And, remember, behind this, Spain's eco is pretty good. He's got 4 ATP stagecoach, and of course the XP trickle from these temples. He's got Spanish golds this whole time. He's got so much extra coin as a result. It's looking really, really nice. And now he can just play the sort of, just park outside your opponent's base and destroy them with mortars strategy, that is the one thing mortars in it are very good at.
Yeah, they're good at just liquefying structures, and
it's a good word.
I'm pretty sure, but this is really just funny to see. He's just got both sides of the map completely walled. He owns all the resources. He's just gonna kind of sit there and mortar things.
Yeah.
And
big volley of Falcons on the Jaegers. Yes, although Jaegers are quite healthy, so I'm not going to knock any of them over like Skittles. But I do like the switch to Jaegers here. I guess he's sort of running out of other resources. Although having said that, he looks okay. But still, Saloon maybe was hoping for something really useful in there.
The silly part of all this, look at all that Spain has and look at the scores.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of that's
basically dead even.
A lot of that's coming from advanced fortifications, which techs all sorts of upgrades, like advanced blockhouse and war huts and stuff that you just don't have. So that's a lot of fake score. I think Spain is certainly in the lead, and the Eco Pop shows that as well. But now, guard upgrades coming in, and I think we're going to see that disparity really, really, it looks even now. It certainly won't in a few minutes, I think. Guard upgrades starting to come in. The mortars really taking down these buildings. I really like the word liquefy. I think it's absolutely correct now. He's gotten to that point in the game where he is just a force.
Yeah, and he doesn't even really need to make military units. Just park his mortars out there, let them do their thing. He's got 6 barracks built. He's just having fun. This is now a creative toy for him. Like he's making a nice looking settlement. You know what I mean?
There's a lot of barracks here. Like it's that kind of game. It's just spamming units from all these buildings. Second factory now coming in for the Spanish player, and that's heading up to the top here where it'll be nice and safe. Still gathering berries, so this entire time not having to switch. This map's insane. There's just so much food everywhere. You never got vegetarianism though, unless it's just not showing on my UI.
Let me see. I'm not seeing it.
Yeah, it might just not show on the UI for whatever reason, but it's certainly a really good tech to get if you're gathering from berries. Berries are actually faster than farms. The gather rate is actually a bit misleading, but they're actually quite a bit faster than farms. And now this looks like the nail in the coffin. He's pushed him all the way back, and those mortars now setting up to shell that factory, which is really, really the lifeline of the Portuguese player here, pumping him, precious resources that he can't gather because he just doesn't have any map control. Look at this dock, and trying to build outposts as well. I guess they are really strong, but now just defending mortars. Oh, the organ gun's taking out 2 of the mortars though.
Yeah, I almost find it rude that he hasn't gone for the revolt just for the music. Like he's pretty much done here, and just to hear the music's always funny.
Rod's coming in against the organs.
Okay, he wants to cheese with the boats a little bit,
and rightfully so. But that does, I guess, although organ guns counter Rods, they are fast-moving hand infantry dudes. 2 mortars left. I get a few were killed, but certainly still enough to take out that remaining factory in pretty quick time. A fort coming out from blue from Optimus Prime as well. Worth pointing out, it does have Star Fort and Cast Remitation teched on it, so 12,000 hit points on that fort, and an additional 6 range, so 32 in total.
And he's gonna scout it, so it's probably gonna. Oh nope! Stop moving the skirms. If it gets built, like I don't know.
Another mortar goes down.
I don't know if this is rude or if this is just he's gonna get it. Wow, even in 4 times damage, it's not. There you go.
Yeah, it does go down. I mean, had it gone up, it is really, really, really powerful. 12,000 hit points is actually insane, but yeah, it's not going to go up. Although all the mortars have been handled, bar 1, that's half health. It looks like blue has been trying to use the special ability on them, but it's not as powerful as on RE, and rightfully so. And now teching Howitzer. That is a tech you don't see too often.
No, I mean, he's now researching the boat upgrade. I don't know. It feels a little bit like bad sportsmanship at this point. You know what I mean? Like, he's kind of dead. But if he wants to play it out, let him play it out.
Yeah, I mean, KINGofOsmane does look like in a pretty commanding position, actually. That you're right to point that out. And with how it's attacked and presumably more mortars on the way, let's turn this one to units in queue. He's going to have all the tools he needs to sort of finish this game out. Rods and skirms. I guess the rods are actually perfectly fine for countering anything that might threaten his mortars. Whoa, that's a lot.
That was a lot of +10.
Yeah, I guess cavalry are a bit more suited to taking out artillery, but if they're unguarded, it still works all the same. But yeah, we did see a lot of rods die there. That is for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I just hope he's having a good time. That's all I hope for at this point. Because, I mean, there really isn't a win condition for him right now.
It's certainly looking very tough, that is for sure. I think I would agree with you.
Yeah. I mean, we got to see that boat in the pond that I wanted to see. Just at 31 minutes.
Oh yeah, I built a dock.
Oh my god.
Yeah, actually that's a really interesting pond. It sort of lets you put a frigate there and contest the trading posts.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's a really interesting place to play where you can control both chokes. It's really good early on. You send 2 caravels in there, you control 2 trading posts, the chokes, a lot of different things. Very interesting.
Imagine mortars with unction, says Perez. Wow, that is something I want to see. Wow, that would be insane.
That would be fun. Oh, you're going to see it.
Oh yeah, unction's in. Oh, it was in a while ago. Where are the missionaries? Show me the missionaries.
Are over to the left.
Oh, there is one. There's a missionary here.
No, don't kill him.
Yeah, he won't die.
Well, doesn't he have that knighthood ability? Because he can one-shot something?
Eye of the Assassin. Yeah, I don't know if it works on priests or civilians in general.
Who knows?
Yeah, now that these mortars are out, another batch of 5. They're sort of pressing towards the coastline here. The docks are now starting to... He's killed all of the, the really key buildings. For example, the factories. And now he's just sort of playing clean up here. And the mortars are going to be more than capable, especially now that they're howitzers, of dealing with these boats. Although Veracruz is out. Doesn't have a siege resist though, so not going to be overly... Although it does do... Mortar... Whatever. It's going to go down. Mortars are really good against boats. Even if they have a half multiplier against them.
Yeah, he's got 70 pop. He's got 70 housing population.
Yeah, he's definitely stringing this one out for whatever reason.
Yeah, I hate to say it, just feels like that master sergeant that keeps rebuilding on the corners of the map. But he's letting his villas go down.
What are you having for dinner?
What am I having for dinner? Turkey burgers. I'm very excited.
Oh, that sounds good. I've got some pork loin steaks. I haven't, but due to like shopping problems because of recent times, I decided that I would I would cook the pork loin steaks and like put them in between slices of bread, and have like a pork loin steak as a sandwich. It's gonna be so good.
That's like a high-level pork sandwich right there, I have to say.
Yeah, I did it the other night. I got some, it was Mediterranean-style marinades, pre-marinated. There wasn't a lot of choice, like, for some reason. Oh, trade Monopoly victory. Yeah, man, I want to see a trade Monopoly victory. I guess that makes sense if your opponent's not going to resign. Trade Monopoly does kind of exist as a mechanic to force the game to end.
Yeah, I think this right here, and I'm not trying to take shots, this is actually just poor sportsmanship. Like, he's refusing to resign. Like, he doesn't want to... He is beat definitively, and he's just got boats on the water, and really the only way to end it
he's clearly being annoying. It doesn't take... I think you're right there.
Yeah.
But I think this pays credit to, like, how... I love all the tension and ridiculous politics you sometimes get in like these tight-knit, high-level communities in games. Well, I don't when you're a part of them. It's
people
really
get
annoying,
real salty with each other.
It does kind of prove that the game is alive and that you've got these relationships between players where they really feel like the need to be... Okay, there's the GG coming out. And we do have another game, but looks like King of Osmane does get the 3 points there. This is a play all 5, so it will end on the next... King of Osmane has won regardless, but obviously this is a team series where you are drafted into a team, and you do, every point you win is a point for your team. So King of Osmane and Optimus Prime will, of course, go up against in the final round. I guess we'll take a look at the post-game real quick. But I'm looking forward to my pork loin steak sandwich. It looks like Spain had a actually very even economy with ports, managed to keep up with them. Ports did spike a little bit, but I think a combination of 5 vills, Spanish gold, all of that, it did actually result in a fairly even curve. Once, though, Portuguese hit industrial, which was, we saw him manage to get there, but he was handling a lot of pressure. He lost a lot of map control, was stopping to be able to gather, and then obviously the fish sort of stopped being available to him as well. Eventually Spain got to industrial, we saw the mortars, and I think really that was where he had all of the tools he needed in his toolkit to really handle and deal with this. But yeah, played it out until the very, very end, and was even forced to call a trade monopoly victory. But that is the end of that game. Let's get into the next one.
Let's rock and roll. A little fatigued from those last 2 games, but let's rev the engine back up and keep going.
Yeah, put it in change gear, shift upwards.
Put some diesel in.
Diesel. I have a petrol engine. I can't be doing that. All right, I'm in. High Plains.
Let's go, baby.
I do like those kind of maps. And I think like it is fun to watch ports play water. But
absolutely.
But that was
there's a time where it doesn't, especially in a live stream tournament game, there's a time to resign. And because you're not just wasting, I don't want to say wasting time, but like you're dragging things out for the viewers, the casters, your opponent, and you have to play another game after it.
I feel particularly like there's more players after this. Like Sompu needs to play later, I believe. But yeah, on that note, shall we green in? It will be, well, actually, I suppose they're talking about the 40% berries tech, but I don't know what he's saying, to be honest.
I mean, I'll make up what they're saying.
It's like, oh man, the 40% berries tech is really great. If I had a chance.
Yeah. I think they're talking about your pork steaks. Is what I actually think they're talking about.
Oh yeah, they're saying interjection had a great idea. But
yeah,
the 40% berries tech doesn't make sense because it's called vegetarianism, but loin steaks are definitely not.
Yeah.
Do caravels see stealth? Probably not, but interesting question.
Yeah, I would go with no on that.
Yeah, I don't see why they would. I learned today that war dogs can see stealth. Didn't know that.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to my turkey burgers. I'm getting a little hangry here. 3 hours of casting was unexpected. But that one game alone was an absolute joy.
Oh, you mean earlier the
yeah
Lakota Inca, where we see ports get all the artillery.
I was just happy to be a part of it. But High Plains, now I know you like to talk about ATP maps. This is an ATP map 100%.
Yeah, man, especially with 4 native posts as well.
Yeah, it should be interesting with the new things. I would love to see. Honestly, let's see a rematch of Japanese versus ports and just see that game again.
I guess we're just gonna sit here.
I mean, we could sit, we could stand, whatever you want to do.
Oh,
I
yeah.
I might stand.
I could
I'm
stand.
gonna go for a stand right now. I've been sitting for too damn long.
Do what you want, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's find out. MDS in the final game. Who is MDS? I'm not. Better go check. KINGofOsmane. I guess they're also taking a break after a really long game. Fair enough.
I mean, someone made it a really long game. But I might do the same. Put the mic on mute and
Wait, War Dogs see spot stealth? Yeah, I just found that out earlier. We saw Spain play. I hovered over the War Dog and because I wanted to see its tags, and apparently it sees stealth. Weird.
I'll be right back. I can still hear. I'm just gonna mute and get a drink of water. And
you got one of
tell
those
me when it's time.
fancy wireless headsets where you can walk around your house.
Oh yeah, I've got the Beats by Dre in my phone.
Oh right, okay. I thought you had a headset.
Yeah.
Ottoman coming out. Okay.
Okay, we moving.
I kind of want it. I want like a headset that you can just sort of like You're just on like Discord or whatever with some friends, and you're like, oh, I'm just gonna go cook some pork loin steaks. You're just standing there like frying off some like standing at your stove, like with your PC's upstairs.
That's what I do half the time. That's why you just get Discord on your phone, and then just either use your phone itself or you use your headphones or whatever you want to do.
Yeah. No, I'm so used to having a headset though. I'm not a huge fan of the built-in phone microphone. I guess I'm a bit of an audio snob. Having worked in a studio, so
I was about to say you're a little more high tech than me at this particular juncture, but I'm just
Otto coming out on high planes though makes sense.
Go see your best Civ here, your favorite one. Everyone's favorite. Everyone loves to go see Otto.
No.
Is King of Osmane Lord Raphael? No, he's not. King of Osmane is King of Osmane.
I think we should just start the rumor that he is.
Oh yeah, I heard that too.
Yeah, didn't you?
Yeah. Well, it'd be a bit awkward when King of Osmane plays against Lord Raphael for whatever reason, but has it ever happened? It must have done. I mean,
I don't think so. Have you seen it happen?
No. Yeah, they're the same person. Yeah, that's right.
I think you're getting it now. No, it's actually Black Star OP.
Oh wow, that would be. What happened to him? He just sort of left.
He did well. Everyone knows that all he does is emerge from wherever, goes and claps Mangle, and then disappears. That's really it.
Yeah, that's true. Although he did show up for the summer tournament of 2015, was it? And got clapped by Samwise 12? Acer game, was it? I don't remember.
Yeah, it was a while back.
To be fair, I don't think he was as practiced there. But
nah.
Yeah, Black Star is certainly one of the more well-known names.
For a time, I think personally he was one of the, if not the best player aside from H2O. Like, he was probably... Because he was... Did H2O ever get, like, a series off of him or no?
I don't know.
Yeah, I can't remember, but I remember almost every time it was either Black Star OP or H2O in the finals, and Black Star OP, I know at least twice beat him. How's A's doing in all this?
A's, I spoke to him earlier. He seems alright.
That's what I like to hear. I'm always in his stream when he's on.
Yeah, he just seems really busy these days. I think he really enjoys streaming, but he's just busy. He doesn't have time to chat and do too much.
Busy just being a genius and whatnot.
Yeah, he's probably like, working out some sort of thing.
Algorithm to stop Corona, probably.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
He's going to patch Corona. He's just going to patch it.
He's going to cow hacks it.
Praise be to the cow lord.
He's going to tap into its programming and...
I mean, I don't know what Optimus is doing here, but there you go. I guess I needed to make him do it.
That wasn't me. I don't like poking him too much, but I'll let you
do
that.
It was me. That's fine.
All right, Osman versus Spain. I believe we saw this matchup. No, that was Gadget. No, that wasn't. That was Maito versus Kaiser earlier, where I saw this matchup. I think Maito played Spain, and I saw Garroshta's Caballeros, that's it, come in, and the Janissaries did quite well against the Caballero Lancers, which was surprising.
It surprised me. It's an interesting matchup, though.
Yeah, this is a really familiar matchup, simply because, well, to this day it is. These are the two top civs on vanilla, so this is a matchup that I think a lot of people are familiar with. because it's been top tier since however long vanilla has been was left to rot without a patch.
I wasn't much vanilla player. I think I was still too young to really like appreciate online RTS gaming. I got more into it when Asian Dynasties came out.
Spanky saying casters should not start rumors. I generally agree with you there, but I think it was quite clear that King of Osmane is definitely Lord Raphael.
Well, yeah. We shouldn't start rumors unless those rumors are true.
But if they're facts, then it's okay.
Like the fact that Lord Raphael is King of Osmane.
Yeah. Yeah, to be clear, everyone, he's definitely King of Osmane. That's for just bear that in mind.
Yeah, we're not starting a rumor. This is just a fact. Everyone needs to accept it.
Oh, they're waiting for me. All right, fine. Game number 5.
It happens, man.
Game number 5.
3 hours in.
Yeah, 3 hours and 12 minutes the stream's been up. I'm quite impressed that this series managed to go this long. Obviously, we had a few hiccups. Certainly, game number 2, and these two players, I think, in particular, they do like their lobby breaks, which is fair enough. But we are getting into this final game here. The score is 3-1 in favor of King of Osmane, but it is a play all 5. So although King of Osmane has won, Optimus Prime still looking to bring home the bacon, the points, so to speak, for his team. Spawning on the right-hand side of the map in the colour green, we do indeed have King of Osmane. Will he be able to get that 4th point? Certainly will be looking to do that. Playing as the Ottomans here, ignoring his coin treasures in base. Not particularly helpful. Let's see where he goes. Straight towards the trading post and does find sunflowers worth 110 food. No longer sunflower worth 140 food. Has been reduced to a balanced and more acceptable level. That was quite a strong treasure before. Although still not sunflower seeds. It is. I'm still having the image of eating the physical sunflower itself. But whatever it is, it's worth 140 food. Optimus Prime, leader of the Autobots, spawning in the left-hand side of the map in the color red, playing as indeed the Spanish. And
he's going to have to bail on 110 food because he's already 2 behind in HP. So if he just aggroes the treasure, he's going to take too much damage.
Yeah, and here comes Spain with his War Dog that does see stealth, everyone. Look, it says see stealth. I wasn't lying to you. I'll hover there. It does pursue the Explorer, and you're right, he cannot go for that food treasure. But he may be able to kill the War Dog. He's coming forward for it. I don't think that's going to get away. That's not a super big deal, but certainly annoying. I don't think Optimus Prime was looking to lose his dog. He perhaps should have gotten it out a little bit sooner, but does take a fair amount of HP off of the Ottoman Explorer there. So that is certainly what he was aiming to do. And this is a really big deal in this matchup. So a nice play from him, and I really like how Optimus Prime went straight towards this trading post to find that Explorer. He expected that might be where he goes based on how close the TP is and the first pass and that kind of thing. And the aim was specifically, trains another War Dog, very interesting, to get damage on that Explorer, because when we hit the Colonial Age, he's going to be trying to build more and more trading posts. Thank you very much for the subscription there. Just subscribe to ESOC. I like that. Just subscribe to ESOC. Very good. Does pick up that 140 food. So that's going to, I suppose, make up for the War Dog, and is probably why he trained it there. And as I said, he was looking to deal damage to that Ottoman Explorer. So another War Dog is going to help him do even more damage. And Ottoman really, really, really want to get the trade route. That's what they want to do. So Spain, using that early War Dog to get some damage done. Really, really nice to see.
Yeah, especially when he also stole the 30 coin from Ottoman. It's negligible, but it's still something else that he got from that. He did have to train the 80 food for that War Dog, but he got 110 from the treasure. So it's more about denying Ottoman the 110 food than it was about getting 110 food for yourself.
Yeah, so it kind of just pays for itself, and it's going to help him get this 60 XP here as well. And as I mentioned, it's just, as it paid for itself, it's kind of free, and it's going to help him deal more damage to that Ottoman Explorer, who's trying to snake his way over to this trading site. He's looking to get in position to build that. Certainly all his villagers chopping wood is going to get that down. And now the Spanish player, I expect, is going to be looking for him, but it looks like he has managed to safely get up to the top of the map here, so isn't going to be able to find him. He's sort of snaking his way down the route, is looking for is looking for him. Advanced trading post coming in from the Spanish player here. 3 vills, followed by ATP. One of the few civs that can send both, simply because of their Spanish bonus. Villager, though, will come across a villager treasure, but more importantly, that trading post that Ottoman has built. So I think he'll get there and then be quite annoyed, because obviously he then remembers that this one's also built. So that villager just going to head home by the looks of it. He's like, he had a nice stroll, but ultimately didn't really get much done. Explorer building
You'll be able to herd that hunt, but not optimal.
Oh yeah. I guess there is something out here for him to do. Thank you very much, Fighting Frenchman, gifting 5 subs. 5 subs, bringing him up to a few in total. Good work, Ia. Up to the Colonial Age. Optimus Prime aging up with the Governor here. And going to place that outpost in base next to the coin mine there. So is anticipating that Ottoman will bring some aggression to his town. So needs that to be placed defensively rather than perhaps in the middle of the map where it would be next to an ATP post that also has a ranged attack and sort of double up there. But this is the problem with ATP. When you're up against an opponent that also... He's an ATP and also gets 3? Oh!
Wow, that's just rough. But Optimus is housed, too.
He is, but there's a house going down there. Getting his mosque in. This is super not ideal. But there's the War Dog coming in strong and is going to be able to get that damage on that Explorer. It's just a shame he didn't find him earlier, or at least that's what he'll be thinking. 5 Janissaries do come out and going to be able to kill the Explorer. Just going to be able to take it down. This is really not ideal for Spain. He definitely wanted to get 3. Like, he sent the Villager out there to grab the 3rd one at least. But it's always a bad day when your opponent beats you to it. So there is certainly that, I suppose. But the show must go on. 5 villagers behind this. He's going to stick to his build. And I still think Spain has lots of potential. Just not super ideal for him. Stagecoach coming in. Not sure who teched that. But... fairly certain, or it would make much more sense if it was Ottoman. But at least then Spain does get that for, going for him. He gets a couple of passes of the trader out. But I wonder for how long, because these Jans, they are starting to siege these trading posts down, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure he's gonna walk away the heavily damaged one and bring it back. Wow, some decent just management. I don't want to call it micro, just management of your units there. But he's gonna be able to take down the 1 TP. Pretty unscathed. It's going to go uncontested. I'm pretty sure he's just going to chalk up that, that is just catching an L. So what he can do here is, switch his TPs to wood just to kind of get
Will
back
he get the
some
final
of the wood
pass?
that he put
There's
in
no
there.
way, right? Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
No, it's okay. Like, he's going to get back some of that wood, right? So all he did was lose a shipment, which is, you waste shipments sometimes. It's not game breaking, just not ideal. And also later in the game, if he ever gets to a point where he can take back the TP, he can do it for cheaper. So it's not the worst thing in the world, just not ideal.
Barracks now going up in base and is starting to age. This is kind of what we expected Spain to do. He just didn't get as many trading posts down as he wanted. Going up with the scout for 4 cavalry and has essentially 2 shipments stacked there. So he does have a lot of power going into this. Let's take a look at his deck. It's more heavy on the cavalry, particularly the lancers, than you would usually see, I think, in a Spain deck that has at least both the rods and the 12 pikes. But that's probably because he's up against the Ottoman, who make mostly Jans and Abbas. So those lancers, those falconets, certainly the Garosh card as well, going to be really, really helpful. A few musks out during transition. Which makes me think perhaps he intends to ship the falconets right away. Interesting.
Yeah, it's usually pretty standard because he's just going to he sees this big wall of Janissaries that Optimus Prime picked up 320 XP. That is big,
beefy.
That'll
I don't know.
help
You say that, but like 5 musks is not enough to protect your 2 falconet shipment, even if you combine it with. You would need to send like 8 pikes and make 10 musks in transition, and then use perhaps 8 pikes from the age up, or certainly maybe 4 cav. Another Spanky coming in with the tier 1 sub for Forgrin. Thank you very much. So I think these are here just to, I guess, combine with the War Dogs. Does pick up that Settler just to act as a little bit of defense. He does send 2 Falconet. Oh, that's Ottoman.
Yeah, but the 320 XP treasure is really big. I mean, he's going to be able to get probably an extra shipment right now, which is pretty important, or at least the tempo of it. And here comes the Jans.
Yeah.
So in conjunction with his Minutemen, I think, the Hussar are going to be able to get that Falcon real easily.
Oh, yeah, they're going to get some damage. They might be able to trade off for 1, so that's already an even trade. I'd say, 600 resources worth of Hussar, take down a Falk. Obviously, Falk is slightly less, but, in terms of compositionally speaking, those Janissaries are a lot less useful when they don't have 2 Falks with them. It's a nice pickup.
Yeah, and he just left. All he did there was
the
Falk and take down a market. He's like, nope, I don't want to play anymore. I'm going home.
He's like, screw you. You killed my toy. I'm going home.
Basically.
You broke my toy. I'm telling Mom. Here comes 5 Lancers. There's a lot of Musks as well. I wonder if he'll tech that. Is it worth doing? I don't know if you'd even bother continuing to train Musks here. Interesting. I guess he just wanted a few units out, and Musks is what you can train in the Colonial A's.
I think he's going to go for this treasure right here and get another 210 XP.
Yeah, fair. I'll grant you that. 210 XP, pretty good. And then I guess Musks have a lot of siege, so makes sense. Can start taking down this trade pout. Trade pout, yes.
Yeah, taking down the trade pout is definitely what you want to do. But he's also popped. I'm assuming he's not idling, though. 2 Falcons have arrived, and he's dropping down a house and another house. So he's going to get this TP down very quickly right here, and he's going to be in a good position. It's pretty much all Jans and 1 Falk versus 2 Falks, some Musks, although they are age 2 Musks, and a hodgepodge of rods and War Dogs and an Explorer, and here's the fight.
Yeah, well, so but he has 2 Falconets. His opponent only has 1, so this is a big deal. And also the Lancers are pretty good against infantry, especially when you've got all the other stuff mixed in there. Just parking the Falcons outside the trading post is going to try and take that down. Osmane knows that he's not really in a position to defend it until, he's just got the 1 Falc, which he can't just throw away. Let's take a look at units in queue. 5 Spahi coming out. Okay, the Musks are making seem a lot more, seem pretty good now, don't they? Okay, Janissaries coming forward with the Spahi behind them, trying to kite back with the Falconets a little bit. They do focus the Jan. One Falc does go down. 2 Lancers heading on over to that other Falc, though. Looks like they've just given up on that. They don't want to keep those Spahi out of the fight, trying to get them in. The Jans do take down both the Falconets, and now it's not looking so good for Spain.
Yeah, I think he should recover here, though. I mean, it's Spahi and a decent amount of Jans, but he's got some shipments behind this. He's got the Minutemen. He should be able to repel it. He's not going to win, but should be able to just kind of keep things at bay here. And does he have the card? He doesn't have the card for the Lancers, but they're sponging up a good amount of the damage.
Yeah, they do have 30% range resist, although going down quite quickly to the Spahis. But he's managed to, pick the Spahis off. They're not as high.
One hit too.
They're not as high hit points as say Mamelukes, so they don't really want to be taking damage. It looks like he's handled that reasonably well. Ottoman though does have enough map control to retake that trading pout. Goodness me, did it again.
That's what they're called now. They're just officially trading pouts.
Well, we're not starting rumors. It is true. They are called trading pouts.
Yeah, I don't know what you shouldn't be so hard for doing the right.
Oh boy!
Oh boy! Oh boy!
You fled that at the same time as me. What's worse than an Oprishnik raid? Well, a Janissary raid. No. Well, I suppose a Janissary raid is not too bad, but a Spahi raid. Yeah, that's the one I was looking for.
It was bad, but it wasn't, just mind altering. He didn't get like 15 vills. Like, let's see how many vills he lost.
Yeah, you tell me. You check that.
Yeah.
How many?
He lost 5. He lost 5, a substantial amount, but against Ottoman, who just has no eco, like, it's not the worst.
Yeah.
Bad, but not the worst.
You say that, and well, yeah, you are kind of right, but
yeah.
I would say 26 vills and not having to train vills is more eco than, especially with 3 TPs compared to 2 than Spain.
Very true. Here
2 Falconets do come out from the foundries train them, and that's a nice. Oh, don't walk the skirms in there. Big volley. No, they don't get a fire. Thank God for that.
You think? I'm assuming he saw them.
I think he saw them. Skirms have a lot of line of sight. So the one thing though I really like about training the falconets is that it makes his janissaries a lot more relevant again.
Does, but he also can just flank around with these lancers, and he's leaving those. I mean, he's got the nice little bluff here that's kind of like protecting him from at least a rear flank, and then he also has the line of sight of the TP to prevent him from getting flanked too hard. But I don't know. Let's see. All things considered, this looks like things are about even right now. Maybe Otto's a little ahead because they, that raid and the TP, but definitely a winnable position.
Yeah.
Switch on over to unpacked.
Military units, 32 Jans and 2 Falconets there, up against 18 skirmishers, 13 muskets. So a lot of infantry. Those Falconets going to do work, and there is not really any means for Spain to counter the cannons. His cavalry's all just gone down. It's not looking too good here. He's going to have to get back or just tank the volleys, which is not ideal. Going to try and kite now that the muskets are dead. With the skirm, he can sort of kite away from those Jans. Although the range of those Falks is obviously really, really good and is making those Jans a very, very relevant unit. And yes, there are a lot of villagers very exposed there on the side that are now going to get away. Volley, move them Optimus Prime.
What he did there, he went on top of that set piece there, that little bluff, so he couldn't get flanked from the right. He couldn't really get flanked from the left because of the tree line, and his army acted as a wall between them. So the only real path of access was to go around, and they would have just flipped position and just died probably by the time they got there. So a very smart play by King of Osmane to just use the geometry of the map to, protect his falconets.
Here we go. Lots of 5 cav plus the lancers. They are going to get into combat with the cannons. I think he will be able to take them down, but not before a couple of final volleys on the skirmishers. Does take out 3 there. And of course, Janissaries are still pretty good against cavalry, and they do dispatch all of those cannons at part. And there's still a cannon left. It's got full HP.
Couldn't get through.
I'll tell you what Spain needs: a 2 culverin shipment.
You know what Spain needs? They need to give a little bit of a, I don't want to say a buff, but you know how meteor hammers with China, they've got silly range, you could just leap over.
It feels like they've got 6 range or something. They probably do have 6 range.
Yeah, they could just, they don't need to be on a falconet, they just need to be near it. They have a lance, so I feel like they should have a little bit of a range increase perhaps. But
yeah. I mean, Spain's actually quite strong, I think, as a civ, not in the colonial age, although I do find them a bit one-dimensional and disappointing. GG. And that will be 4-1 to Optimus Prime, in the sense that, all they have is hand infantry shipments and not a lot of flexibility. But yeah, Spain is, I don't know. Lancers are just a sad unit, in my opinion, compared to, say, a Cuirassier, which is just insane. But it is what it is. Spain is just what it is. It's just a civ that does one thing.
Yeah, but it's a one-trick pony.
Yeah, well, 4-1 to King of Osmane. Congratulations there. I must admit, Optimus Prime's 1 victory was very, very impressive. It is a shame we didn't really fully see that played out. But well done to King of Osmane. Going to be bringing home quite a number of points to his team.
Yeah, definitely really good games on all of them, even though sometimes the score is not indicative of what's going on. 4-1, you think, oh, we just got crushed. Those were some very close games, a lot of them. That Dutch-Japan game was very close.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
The French game was pretty close. It was, it was a really hard-fought matchup, and I really enjoyed casting and watching the games.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Yep.
I'm going to go make myself a pork loin steak sandwich.